Hi, and hi. This is my Nintendo Switch collection. Every single video game, I'm gonna show you and talk about why I bought it, and for many cases, where I bought it, because I've done a lot of international game hunting videos on this channel. There's a lot of reasons why I wanted to make this video. One, the Nintendo Switch's era is coming to an end, and throughout the last 8 years, this channel has been a place where I've collected these games. I've reviewed these games, talked about these games, showed you me going and buying these games. Whether it was in Japan or in UK, or that one time I bought out an entire GameStop worth of Nintendo Switch games, this is kind of a representation of my channel behind me. And I wanted to document every single game I had up until the Nintendo Switch 2 release. Yeah, also another reason is Scott the Woz did this, and I really enjoyed watching his, and I wanted to do one. I didn't really know how to set the camera up to film this on my own, and I didn't want to make someone hold a camera for 3 hours while I just talked about my Switch games, so I've kind of jerry-rigged a camera on an arm on my chair. I'm actually kind of proud of it, but it's very shaky, and I hope nobody gets motion sickness during this. This is kind of sick, actually. Look, you can see what I'm doing. You're like right here with me. I didn't know exactly where to begin. I figured we'd start right at the start here with these games, because these ones are all Nintendo's first-party games in this first section. I do actually have all of these Switch games broken down into sections. None are alphabetical, something that bothers guests every time they come over, and also bothers Kim because she has alphabetized it many times, and then I just get in there with my grubby little hands and I mess it up. Before we start here in the first party section though, there is this little tub down here. So this tub, the kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I guess the games that I'm currently playing or really want to play. And in my mind, once I've put a game in the game wall shelf, it's gone. By the way, there's like, last time I counted 700 Switch games. I'm probably closer to, if not past 800 by now. And once I put a game in this wall, yeah, it's sucked into oblivion, and I will completely forget that I have it or that I wanted to play it. So this tub is just my tub of games that I do still really want to play, and I'm not quite giving up hope of trying to play it yet. I should probably mention too that this is specifically going to be every game in my collection, not necessarily all of my Switch stuff. Like, there's a giant Switch kiosk behind me, for example, which is part of my Switch collection, but this video is not about that. I did make a video on my Switch collection already that you can watch on this channel, but I breezed past the games. I didn't have time to show them. It would take, what, 3 hours? That's why we're here today. It feels very weird to start with this one, but I guess it's not that weird since it's the most recent Switch game I've bought, Alteria Yumiya. I gotta say, I'm loving Yumiya so far. I'm about 5 hours in, but the Switch is really showing its age now, and it's making it really tough for me to commit to actually playing through it, especially when the Switch 2 is so close. And I just can't help but wonder if they're going to do a patch or an update and make this more playable on the console. The frame rates and the resolutions, it's all just really rough, and we're at the point now where we just need that sequel console. And I don't want to be a bummer right off the rip, but this last year has definitely been tough for trying to play Switch games, especially ports on this console, and just feeling the age of it. Okay, but continuing on, I started Beatemups 1 and 2 HD Remaster recently, which is why it's in this box. The two Beatemups games are some of my absolute favorite GameCube games, and I picked this up in Japan, and I finally started it recently. Okay, then Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Funny that it's the third one off the rip. It's in this box because I've always intended to play through it and review it again, and I mean this in all honesty and sincerity, and I don't want to start this video off negatively. I'm just being honest with you right now. Since my review all those years ago, I have tried restarting this game several times. I've recorded gameplay and footage of me beginning to try and review it again and document me playing through it, and I just can't do it. I really don't like this game, and every time I get like 20 hours in, I get bored and I forget I'm making the video and I move on to something else and I just quit. It's so disappointing because I love every other Xenoblade. I've even fallen in love with X recently, and I still haven't reviewed that either. Omori Amari, this game reminds me a lot of games like Undertale, and I really have only just started it, so I really can't talk too much about it, but I loved the idea, the art style, and the box art. Recently, I made that GameStop video of me buying a bunch of games from GameStop to see what I was sent. You might remember 3 games never showed up. Well, they finally did, and we'll get to the other Actually, they're right here. So these are the 3 games that showed up. We have Stanley Parable, Truck Simulator. So they both finally got here. And the third one I was waiting on. Took them 3 weeks to send this. Patrick Star. And it was empty. I put a video up on Twitter. I was baffled by this. I wish it had made it into the video. They sent me a case with no game in it. I'm not making that up. It's not a lie. Like oh man, I wish that had made it into the video, but I opened it off camera because it just arrived late. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with these 3 games? I may as well open them. Dredge, that's in here because I wanted to play it and I finally did. I recently finished it actually. Hit the credits and everything. Great game. Cocoon, this came in the GameStop games video and I actually do want to play it. I hate that I didn't get the case for it. Kim and I wanted to make a video with this. My Universe, My Baby. I bought this so we could upload this while the baby was here as like a fun video. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. The game's not even in here, so I don't know what I did with it. That's actually one of the worst things about me. I do, as I said, I have ADHD, and a way that presents itself is I never put games back in the cases. They are either loose lying around my house in weird places or most likely in other game cases. In fact, while I had Ulterior Yumiya in my hand, I could tell there's something else in here. Yep, sure enough, Ulterior Yumiya and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Because that's what I'm currently playing. Dragon Quest XI-S. This game took me years to finish. I think this came out forever ago. I have finished it now, but it's such a long game. I finished it over 3 or 4 years, I think, and love it. Probably one of my top favorite experiences of Switch games. A fantastic game. Just honestly so breathtakingly fantastic. Again, this isn't a collection video, but I went and bought all the figures from this game. Yeah, absolutely adored that game. Also, the game is not in the case, which is why it's in here, because I can't put it away until I find the game, and I don't know where the cart went. I really don't know where anything is. That's probably also the case for Pokemon. Nope, Pokemon Sword is in here. Pokemon Sword and Scarlet. This is cool. I guess we could talk about the fact that these are the 2 that I picked, right? I didn't play Shield or Violet. Whenever it comes to Pokemon games, I always pick the first one, I think, for the most part. Whatever one is more like, I don't know how to describe it, that I perceive as more red, as more like the first one. So you have like red and blue, right? So I'd always pick red. You have X and Y, so I'd always pick X. Sword and Shield, I'd always pick Sword. Scarlet and Violet, I pick Scarlet. Pokemon Sun and Moon, I pick Sun. I don't know why you would ever pick the other one. I don't know why in my brain it has to be the first one. Like that's the one I want. My brother back in the day when we got Fire Red and Leaf Green, he was given Leaf Green. And I wonder if he always picks the second one because of that. I don't know, but I always pick the first one. Those are in here because I recently made that Pokemon video about the graphics, and I had to pull all those out to record gameplay. So they ended up back in here. It's actually kind of good starting with these because a lot of these are some of my favorites. Not only are these games that I intend to play, a lot of them are games that I know I'm going to frequently want to play and revisit. So I keep them in here, like Pokemon Arceus. Although that's probably in here as well because of that same Pokemon video, but that's been in here. Every now and then I like popping in Arceus and just catching a few Pokemon, and I don't know why. Animal Crossing New Horizons. This is always one that I keep on standby in case Kim wants to dive back in. But I gotta be honest, at this point, I have not played it in a long time. Also, the cart is missing, and don't ask me where it is. I don't know. If I could talk about Animal Crossing for a second, I guess it would be that this game, and I know we all know, but came out at the perfect time during the dreaded P word, where we were all stuck inside for 2 years. This game came at a perfect time for just something to veg out and play for literally hours on end. Like, I don't think there was any other game on the Switch generation that I would sit there and play hours on end every single day. And the best part was it was my job, you know? And I think I made a few videos about this game just because it was all I played for several weeks and I had nothing else to talk about. Kim has like over 1,000 hours in that game. And I think I have something like 300, 400. Kirby and the the Forgotten Land, one of my favorite Switch games of this generation. I feel like I'm going to say that a lot, but I mean it. Also, my favorite Kirby game. I had an absolute blast playing this, and I do intend on playing the new extra mission and enhanced Kirby version on Switch too. I love that Nintendo are starting to take their old games, their old IPs, and give them these big 3D worlds and adventures. Obviously, we're getting Donkey Kong next, and I really want to see them go down that avenue with more. Oh no. Oh dear. I don't know why this isn't... Okay, that's why. The cart's missing. I have an issue. I have a problem. I don't know where any of these carts are. Mario and Luigi Brothership, famously one of my most, if not my second most negative Nintendo first party game on my channel. Yeah, I really didn't like Mario and Luigi Brothership at all. I don't get the hype. I guess we don't have to talk about it too much. Such a shame though, because I was really looking forward to it. Give you 10 guesses why this is in here. Couldn't be more excited to try playing this 4K 60 on the Switch 2, by the way. This and Tears of the Kingdom. Even with the dumb little mobile app, I'll give it a shot. It was a Wii U game, sure. Ran a lot better on the Switch and just always felt like a Switch game to me, and I'm sure a lot of people. And man, if there was one game to rule them all, it was the one they released on launch day. It really was peak. Other than Tears of the Kingdom kind of revitalizing the game, I don't think I had another experience in those 8 years that compared to this. I had a lot of great experiences, but Breath of the Wild was always king. Smash Ultimate. Smash is in here because it's probably the game I frequently go back to the most, to the point where sometimes I wish I had just bought it digital, and I get tempted to just buy it digital because I guarantee you, oh, it's actually in here. Many times I'll try and go and play it, and I'm like, man, where did I put that damn game? And I can't find it. I'm a Sora main at this point. He's really all I play, but I also love playing Sephiroth. You would think it would be Link, but I really feel like they nerfed my boy in this one, and none of the Links really stack up in a way that I like. I enjoy Captain Falcon a lot. He'd probably be my third, but Bob plays him, so I always feel like I should play someone else. Live Alive. This one's in here purely because I need to play it. I am not putting this on the shelf. I refuse to. I will play Live Alive. Moonlighter. Yeah, Moonlighter is one of my absolute favorite indie gems. I love this game, and I frequently go back and play this game. The fact that ever since this game released, I've had it in this bin, and I will frequently go back and start a new game. I adore it. It's a dungeon crawler type game where it's incredibly hard dungeons. You go through, you try and beat enemies, and everything you collect in there, you open up a shop and you sell things, and you set your own prices. And as you expand and grow the store and make more money to buy better equipment, when you go back into the mines and the dungeons, you can kill more things, you can get stronger, and it's such a perfect ebb and flow between the two modes. It really does feel equal parts, both parts, in the best way. Minecraft. Minecraft is one of my favorite Switch games, ironically, because it's so calming and relaxing. And again, it's one of those perfect games where if I'm bored, I don't know what to play, and I just want to waste some time. It is so easy to just start a new game and play it enough to get up into a point until you like find a diamond. You know, you have a little hut and a campfire. You've set up base. You've mined enough to find a diamond. Probably took you a couple hours, few hours. And then you just put the game back down and you never touch it again. Or for years or months. And then you start a new game and you do it all over again. I never commit to a game. Thousand Year Door. It's in here because I really want to replay it again. My absolute favorite Paper Mario. It's so hard for me to justify replaying something I've already played though. And especially with so many games coming out, and there's like games in this tub I haven't even got to. The idea of replaying a game. You know, it's funny, I say that now, but I spent this weekend replaying and finishing from start to finish Devil May Cry 3 on my Nintendo Switch. Does not have a physical. I watched the anime recently, and I was like, you know what? I haven't played Devil May Cry in a while. Realized I had the third one. I'd already bought it. And I was like, I'm just going to mess around. I'm just going to start the game. And then while watching the entirety of WrestleMania weekend, I finished Devil May Cry 3. Fantastic game. Anyway, I haven't played that yet. Well, I have, but you know. A Space for the Unbound, another game I really need to play. I actually met the developer for this game at PAX, I believe, last year, and I bought the special edition from him. I just need to play it. It looks like a gorgeously animated point-and-click style game with a great narrative. Ni no Kuni. I've always wanted to replay this on Switch, and I don't think I ever actually even finished it on PlayStation back in the day, and I wanted to replay it on Switch. And again, it's been in this tub ever since it released, which I think was like at the start of of the Switch lifespan. Dragon Quest Builders 2. I don't know how much time we have here for me to blab about this, but there were definitely early standout points in my career covering Nintendo Switch games. And this was back in a time when people were looking for things to play, like new creative ideas. And then Dragon Quest Builders came out, a game that was very similar to Minecraft, but with a really awesome story. And it actually had a lot of meat that you could dive into here. And I found the whole concept a lot of fun. And I made a video about it being one of the most addictive Switch games, and people really resonated with it. And I feel like, I don't want to say thousands of people, but I feel like thousands of people discovered this game, both 1 and 2, because of my videos back in the day. And those videos did very well. I remember making a lot of Builders content back then, actually. I became known as the Dragon Quest Builders guy for a little bit there. People would recognize me out and they'd be like, you love Dragon Quest Builders, right? Like, I got that a lot. Sometimes I still get people will come into my streams or meet me at conventions and ask me if I still play. And the answer is no. I mean, it's pretty old at this point. No, of course I don't. It was fun while I played it. I played it for hours. Probably one of the games I put the most amount of hours into, period, on the Switch. But no, I need a new one. I really hope they make a new one. Disco Elysium, arguably the best point and click of all time. The Switch port is fantastic. This is the final cut. I played it a lot and never finished it. And at this point, I need to restart it. Purely why it's in here still. Dragon Quest Treasures. I haven't played it. It doesn't even look that good. It's funny going from Builders, how much I loved it, to me saying, haven't even played it. But I never really liked the way this one looked. It just kind of looked like a mobile game, and I bought it, but then I never actually even played it, so. And no one talked about it, so maybe I was right. I don't know. Someone recommended I play Buddy Simulator 1984. It also gives massive Undertale vibes, and it looks really fun and goofy, and I've just never started it. It's also sealed, and there was one time I went to go play it, and I went to break the seal, and I saw limited run on the back. A little part of me was like, do I really want to play this? Do I really want to break the seal on something that maybe years from now will be worth money? Not that I would sell it, but is it worth breaking the seal? And I talked myself out of it. And then I think I ended up playing Omari instead. It was very similar and it satisfied me in the same way. Now is probably a good time to quickly talk about what I intend to do with all my Switch games. Keep them. They're all my games. You know, maybe if I need money one day, we'll have a different conversation. But right now, my goal is to keep them all and cherish and love them all. You know, I haven't sold a game or like had that intention ever. You know, ever since I became a collector, I want to say almost 10, 15 years ago at this point, I've never sold anything. Maybe traded for something else, video game related, but never sold. And I have no intention of doing that. So I know it's silly when I say like, do I really want to open this and ruin the value? There is a part of me that, I don't know how to explain it, but I appreciate that some of these things sealed have more value that way. So if I don't need to open them, there's a part of me that doesn't want to just devalue them for no reason. Just gut one if I don't really even intend on committing to finishing it. There's a lot of things in my collection, especially the limited run stuff that we'll get to, and it's all sealed. And that's mostly because limited run is so late to release things anyway, that by that point, I've already bought it digitally and played it if I like the game. Like if I'm buying it from limited run, it's probably because I know I like it and I've already played it. So I try and keep all those things sealed anyway. And yeah, that's really purely for like value, because I know those things are already worth way more than what they were on release, and they'll just continue to go up in value. And look, let's say one day I do need the money and I can sell one of these things for a few $100 and I paid 50, like, you know, the alternative is I like ripped it open one day just to open it. I do have this thing. It's extended my whole life, and it might be an ADHD thing or an OCD thing, even though I said I don't have OCD, where like, I don't even like being the first person to open a packet of chips, you know, to bust the seal on a big packet of chips if I'm only gonna have a couple. You know, I need someone else to open it, and then I'll have some chips. I don't know what that says about me. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've talked about this a lot. I have a whole script. I wanted to do something more special, and then because of that, I just didn't do anything. It took me 80 hours to finish the game, which is how long it takes to finish a game. And even with me grinding most days and most nights, it took me a few weeks to finish it after launch. And by the time I sat down and wrote a script, and then I filmed my video, and then I started editing it, and I was like, I hate it. It'd been like a month since the game came out. And I was like, I gotta move on. You know, I gotta make another video. I gotta do something. I gotta get wheels in motion here. You know, I can't just pause my career while I play Xenoblade 3. And that really, you know, with a lot of Switch games that are really long, that's why I don't review them in the end, because I hate half-assing a review. I hate playing a game for 10 hours and then trying to review it when the game's 80 hours long. So I commit to trying to finish it, and then by the time I finish it, I go, too late. I don't know what the middle ground is there. I don't know what to do about that, but yeah. That's why I didn't review that. Or Xenoblade X. I planned to review that too, and I just didn't even have time to finish it, let alone review it. This one I wish I reviewed. Snack World: The Dungeon Crawl. This is a absolute hidden gem that honestly at this point, I barely even remember the game, but I sunk hours into this game and I recorded everything. And my plan was to make a review of my biggest Switch hidden gem that no one had ever heard of. And it's Snack World: The Dungeon Crawl Gold. It is so much fun, and I don't remember why. Literally, it's been so many years. I don't know if we'll say the year on the back of this when it released, but I'm gonna guess this was 2020. So 5 years ago, half a decade ago. I don't even remember the game. I just remember I really liked it. Speaking of never wanting to open things, I also bought a 1 terabyte Zelda SanDisk because I was like, I'm gonna upgrade my SanDisk on my SD card to a 1 terabyte. And then I got home and I was like, oh, this is actually sick. Do I want to open this and destroy what is essentially a collector's item now? I know I'm horrible. So I kept it in this bin, and then I bought another standard default non-Nintendo terabyte card and put that in my Switch instead. I don't know if any of you are psychiatrists, but if you want to try taking a stab at my brain, I'd love to know what you think. Shin Megami Tensei 5. I tried playing when it launched on Switch originally, and it didn't really hit for me. It just felt like it was going nowhere off the rip. I didn't really understand what my motivation was supposed to be in playing it, and I got maybe like 10, 15 hours in and just kind of fizzled out. Really didn't stack up to my experiences playing Persona 4 or 5 or 3 or any Persona, which is kind of what I was looking to get out of it. But after hearing some other creators talk about it and other people really gas it up, I always wanted to give it another shot and go in with a better understanding that it wasn't Persona. So when Vengeance came out, I jumped on it, and I actually found this copy in a really cool little game store near me here in Pennsylvania that I've been meaning to go back to. That was an absolute hidden gem of a store. Like, it's impossible to even find on Google Maps, and they had some Switch stuff I'd never even seen before. I meant to go back there and make a video because I just thought the store was so cool. And anyway, that's where I bought this, and I still haven't played it. Sorry. Long way of saying didn't even play it. But it's in here because I want to. We're not even through my tub yet, and it's been 30 minutes. This is going to be a hell of a video. Super Mario Odyssey. Again, another launch window game. This came out in the holiday season. I remember going with Kim to the GameStop that she worked at, and then going back to my friend Billy's house, who I was staying with at the time. I lived with Billy for a couple of months before Kim and I got our own place when I moved to America. Thank you for that, Billy. Don't know what I'd do without you. And we played it in his spare room, and Kim and I were just glued to this game for hours that night. So much fun. I mean, it's Mario Odyssey. What do you want me to say? I'm not even that big of a Mario fan. Never have been, 3D or 2D, but I always preferred the 3D. And this one really sold me on Mario. Funny enough, at 25 years old, all these years later, I finally found my Mario game that really connected with me. They hit the nail on the head. This is the best platformer of all time. Like, hands down. Donkey Kong and a future Mario have a long way to go to beat this, in my opinion. This might surprise no one, but Dead Cells is in my rotation box. This is one that I very often frequent. It helps that they constantly update it. They added in Castlevania DLC, and I always dive back in to see what's been added or just to start a new run. It's a Metroidvania roguelike style game. I think it might have been the first game on my channel that I made in the I'm Addicted To series. I made a bunch of those, by the way. These, like, I'm addicted to this game now. And I never really, in the thumbnail and title, I would never tell you what game it was, because I always had this impression or opinion that if I said I'm addicted to Dead Cells, it gives it away in the title what I'm playing. And if you have no interest in the game or you'd never heard of it, you wouldn't click on it. And for the most part, like when this game released, it was just an indie game. You know, no one really heard about it off the rip. It took some time for people to realize that it was sick, you know? So I didn't want to give away what it was and have people not click on it and then not discover an awesome game that they might like. And I think that tactic always worked. The views on the videos would always be higher because people would want to find out what game it was because they were coming to see what I was addicted to, which to me wasn't clickbait, you know? I'm addicted to this game. Click if you want to find out, and you might like the game too, you know? That's what the video was, and that's what I was telling you it was. And then a lot of people found the game and really ended up like buying it and enjoying it because of that, where before they might have just breezed past the title and not even given the video a shot, which is why I always did it that way and marketed the videos that way for those reasons. One, they would get more views, which obviously I'm trying to pay bills. And two, you'd give the video a chance and then find a game that you like, that you might not have otherwise had given a shot. I thought it was a win-win. Back then was definitely at the peak of people saying that I just do clickbait. Everything I do is clickbait, which, you know, it always bothered me because I wasn't, you know, it was clickable content for sure. I was trying to bait you in for you to find out what game it was, you know, but it's not like I was ever lying. I was just using the algorithm to my advantage, and I was trying to show you cool games that I liked. I ended up stopping doing them anyway. A lot of people did have, not like most people. If I'd put a percent on it, I'd say 10. A lot of people had an issue with me using the word addicted or addiction because video games, they can be an unhealthy addiction for a lot of people, and people thought I was trying to make light of that. And I never was. You know, addicted is a word I would use because the game was so good I couldn't stop playing. It's like when people say that they're addicted to jalapeno poppers. You know, I was never trying to make light of a serious illness that a lot of people suffer from. But the more I got those comments, the more bad that I felt. And then I ended up I stopped using the word as much or really at all. But it's never how I meant it. Some things can be addicting without them being a problem, you know? I make a mean potato salad, and I'm addicted to eating it. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. This came out of nowhere. Did not expect this game to be so good. I say it came out of nowhere, but the Dynasty Warriors style of games rebranding as something else wasn't exactly a new concept at this point, but this one added in so much, like so much content. The gameplay was really refined. The frame rates still weren't great, but they were definitely much better than the 3DS version of the previous Hyrule Warriors. But more than anything, it added an awesome story with fantastic cinematics and voice acting that tied in as a perfect prequel to Breath of the Wild. I was really blown away. Like, we'd never received so much rich story from a Zelda IP in such a cinematic way. And then the game itself, I really do enjoy the gameplay. If you haven't played it, you really just, it's a hack and slash, which I love, where you wail on hundreds and hundreds of enemies, but there's also a micromanaging aspect to it where you are on a battlefield and you have several different troops being led all over the place, and you need to keep an eye on the mini-map to make sure that all your little battles are going well, and you can switch between all of the characters all over the map to check in and help out. It's really cool. I look forward to Age of Imprisonment a lot. Slave Zero, one of the first Australia games that I bought. You can tell by the M rating on the case. I bought this at the very first GameStop we went into in Perth. Something interesting about all the Australia games or the European games are that if it focuses, the titles are in the very dead center of the case, which is why I decided to keep them all together when we get to that section. It's purely in here because I was, I guess, going to play it, and then I ended up playing it, and I didn't end up loving it. Probably the first game in the video, other than Xenoblade. It's very fine. It looked more fun than I think it is, unfortunately, but I could definitely see a lot of people enjoying it. Another one that I just haven't got around to playing, The World Ends With You Neo, the sequel. The World Ends With You, the first one, which is back in here somewhere, was very notoriously difficult to play on the Switch. It was designed with the 2DS and 2 screens in mind, so when it came to Switch, it was a nightmare on your fingers. I remember getting carpal tunnel. I think the video I made was me making fun of how cramped up my hands were trying to play that game on the console, but an incredible game. And I was excited for the sequel because I knew it would be just as good, but it wouldn't ruin my hands because this time wasn't made for the DS. However, as you can probably tell, this sucker is sealed because I just never got around to it, unfortunately. Similar story with Harvestella. This is a Square Enix RPG meets farming sim, and I really loved the way it looked. It almost looked like a Final Fantasy farming sim. I bought this sealed, played the demo first, and I didn't really like the way it ran on Switch, and also it didn't hook me, I guess. So then I never ended up actually breaking the seal and playing it for real. And then the final game in the tub, in the box, Metro Redux. And it's sealed because, once again, I want to see how it runs on Switch. I heard it's one of the better ports, definitely one of the more ambitious ports. And it's just a first-person shooter on Switch. There's just not been many of those, and I wanted to try playing Metro this way, and I just never got around to it. So it's still there. It's still in the tub. And as I said earlier, at this point, I'm very curious to see if a game like that gets any enhancements on Switch 2, if the developers support it at all, because I would love to give it a shot on that console. Also, I'm now realizing in here is my MiG Switch. We made a video on that. A lot of people thought Nintendo were going to come after me when I made that video, but I made very sure that I made that video as legally as possible, and nothing happened. Oh, and if you don't know what the MiG Switch is, I guess I should tell you. It's a little device that lets you dump your other carts, your physical carts, like all the ones I just held in my hand for the last half an hour, onto one SD card, onto here. So I could load essentially this entire, almost a lot of games. I don't know how many, but this is a lot. I could load a lot of games onto this, dump them all on here. My games, my actual games, I guess my ROMs, you should call them. Completely legal and ethical way of putting a bunch of ROMs onto an SD card without downloading and being illegal. I have a video about that if you want to watch that. It's worth mentioning too, if it's your first time here for any reason, a lot of these games that I talked about, if not most of them so far, and will continue to talk about, I've reviewed and done videos on my channel. So if you want better look at anything we talk about today, click around my channel, have a look around, you know, see what you see what you like. Why don't you hit us with a subscribe? We're about to start making Switch 2 content, so you're here just in time, honestly. If you didn't have a Switch 1 and you're starting to get into Switch 2 stuff now, and you're curious about what made the Switch 1 so good, and that's why you're here. All right, so as I was saying, this is all Nintendo games, like first party. You can maybe see, I don't know if you can, but the spines all say Nintendo down here. That was really the only kind of organizing I did, other than with the other region games, which is a similar case. So, in no particular order, because remember again, nothing is alphabetized, so you get what you get. We have Nintendo, that's a horrible start. Superhero Girls Teen Power. I gotta be honest, I don't even remember buying this. Also, I didn't even remember it being a Nintendo game. Like a straight up Nintendo first party game. DC Superhero Girls Teen Power. Yep, I know nothing about that. I guess I just, you know what? That might have come from the GameStop video. I wouldn't be surprised. But you know that I went to GameStop and I bought all those games? I'm sure if you've seen the video, I ended up giving away all of them. That was the whole idea, is I went straight to Too Many Games, a convention near me in Pennsylvania here. There's another one coming up this month that I'll be at. No, next month? I don't know. Maybe I'll be at. I'm going to have a baby. I don't know. Why are you pressuring me? I took all the games there a couple years ago and I gave them all away, but there were some that I kept. If I didn't have them already in my collection, which was only about 10 or 15 games, I kept them, and that might have been one. Oh, another instant classic. Sushi Strikers. I really didn't mind this game. It definitely wasn't the $50 that I apparently paid for it. This is definitely more of a $10 game. Let's go Pokemon Eevee. I went with Eevee because Eevee's my favorite. And to play a Pokemon game where you start with Eevee, that was my dream come true. And definitely a reason why I have a special place in my heart for that game. Even though a lot of people didn't like it because of the catching mechanic, I thought it was beautiful. Not the catching mechanic, but... Oh, then we have my favorite Mario Party, Jamboree. Yeah, hands down the best Mario Party I think we've ever got. I had a whole video on that, so I guess I won't double down. Oh, we have another Dragon Quest Builders 2. And I'm now remembering, because I was like, wait, this case is different. They did that thing where you had a reversible case. So apparently I reversed one. Oh, you know why I have two? I bought one for Kim. Yeah, she never played it. I bought one for Kim, that's right, because I wanted to play with her, and then she just didn't. Then we have Splatoon 3, definitely the best Splatoon, which at this point, I think it has like all the content. It's like an ultimate Splatoon. I don't really know what I'm saying. It's Splatoon. I like that one. I bought the physical of Tetris 99, mostly because I felt like this is just going to be one of those hard to find ones because it's Tetris 99, right? Like I'm pretty sure it's free. I think I paid $10 for this. I don't really remember. Then separated by a couple games, we have the first Dragon Quest builders. I feel like I've talked enough about these games, so I won't harbor on about it. But I do love when games actually have some kind of art or something inside the cover. That's how you know they actually care about you. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. We had so many Wii U games come over, but this one was one of the most lackluster for extra content. All they did was add Funky Kong. Pay us $60 again, please. Easily one of my favorite Switch games, Astral Chain. This game is so underrated, man. I love hack and slash games. I also love Platinum games. Anything Platinum does usually rocks my boat, you know, the Bayonetta series, but they took a break from Bayonetta to make Astral Chain. And yeah, I really feel like it's just underrated. Some of the coolest hack and slash gameplay I've ever played. The way that you control your character, your Legion, your little sidekick character, and the chain that connects you as a weapon. There was just so many cool things you could do in that game. It also had like Persona vibes to it too, with the exploring the world stuff. Mario Tennis Aces. I like that game a lot, but I stopped playing it pretty quickly after a week or two. But a fun memory I have of that game is it came out, I think, during maybe the first Too Many Games I went to here in Pennsylvania. And at that Too Many Games, I met Tyler and Rachel, who just lived in Pennsylvania, happened to stop by. Rachel has a huge YouTube channel, and Tyler was beginning to grow as a creator at the time, and now he has a huge TikTok. And we all became really close friends. It was so random. And in my Mario Tennis Aces video, there's a clip at the end, like a skit of me playing Mario Tennis Aces with them. They were happy to like collab and be in my video, which I thought was so cool at the time. And then yeah, we ended up becoming friends and going to Japan together, and now me and Tyler are still the bestest of friends. Yoshi's Crafted World. Kim and I had a blast playing this one together, but it is very easy baby game. Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I don't think I ever played this on Switch. I did not. It is sealed. A lot of my games are sealed. I played that on Wii U, and I only bought it for the collection, which is a case for a lot of games, especially the Wii U games. I had a really bad habit, I guess. I don't know if it's bad, but of just going and buying any Switch game, even if I'd already played it, with no intention of playing it again just for the collection. And that's definitely one of them. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. I think we've talked enough about Hyrule Warriors. We waited so long for Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot, and by the time it got here, I picked up my pre-order and then didn't play it, unfortunately, but I'm sure it's great. Everybody 1-2 Switch. This is also sealed. I was gonna make a video on that, making fun of it, but I didn't even have the heart to play it in the end. Bayonetta Origins. I did play this, and I didn't like it. I don't understand why it exists or why it is the way that it is. It wasn't for me personally. Endless Ocean Luminous. Actually, you know what? There's probably 3 games I gave scathing reviews to, and this was the third, Endless Ocean Luminous. The worst Endless Ocean. They somehow went backwards. I don't understand why that game is the way that it is, but I did not enjoy that game. If you haven't played it, it's like the other Endless Ocean games, but worse. Oh man, God, I hate that we're hitting so many in a row that I don't like. But Daemon X Machina, again, I played this game for maybe 5 hours and didn't enjoy a single minute. I know a lot of these games, people will probably be like, you gotta play X amount of hours before it gets good. But when I say I played 5 hours and didn't enjoy a minute, I mean like, it was painful. That was probably one of the most painfully boring and confusing games. And by confusing, I just mean like confusingly bad. Yeah, didn't like it. But there's a new one coming, and that one looks sick. I don't know what they did, but I think they've revamped it, and I do actually like the look of the new one. Super Mario RPG. Loved it back in the day. Didn't really hold up for me playing this remake. I don't know what it was. I didn't love the remake art style. It was very okay. I just didn't really get swept up in the nostalgia playing it like I thought I would. I'm being very negative right now, but Game Builder Garage is a great game. Like, the things you can do in that game, the tools tools that it gives you to essentially create your own game. That's the whole idea. It's like Mario Maker. If baseline, you could just make anything. You know, they give you like coding tools essentially to make your own game. Great for kids for sure that want to get into game coding and want to mess around with some basic ideas. And I didn't like that off the rip, you were forced to do a ton of tutorials in a specific order. And the order was like different kinds of games. And I had no interest in some of the game types. And I really wanted to learn like how to make this thing, but I couldn't do that tutorial until I'd done all of the other ones. I just noped out. All right, finally, one that I loved, Ring Fit Adventure. I will stand by this. Ring Fit Adventure is a great way to get into shape. I love that game. I played it a lot when it came out. And I remember I cranked it all the way up to the hardest setting. It sucked. I mean, like it was a workout, but I could do it. And it was fun. I liked it. I remember trying to do a challenge. I posed a challenge to my audience where I wanted to play every day for 30 days and see if I, you know, had abs or like how fit I got. And I think I got like 5 or 6 days in and just forgot, you know. It's just one of those things. It's hard for me to commit to anything like that for extended periods of time, but maybe if there's a sequel, I'll try again. It came with a big ring and you would work out to do damage to bosses or to like dodge attacks. You would actually have to do a workout. And a lot of people have asked me over the years, is it an actual workout? And yeah, it is. I mean, it's mostly cardio. I mean, you're not like weight training, right? But if you're looking to sweat and do some crunches and like leg squats, like, yeah, it's brutal. Pikmin 4, the best Pikmin game. I really love this game. There's so much content in Pikmin 4. It's the game that just keeps on giving. There's a whole extra Olimar mode, which is essentially just another Pikmin game within a Pikmin game. And then the actual Pikmin 4 is awesome. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, I never finished that, but I did enjoy it a lot more than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I do feel like it addressed a lot of the issues that I had. And the developers even said that they wanted to fix a lot of the issues with 2 and streamline them for Torna. And yeah, they did. I mean, this fixed all of my issues with, almost all my issues with the base game, which is another reason why, I know my review was terrible, but it's another reason why I've always found it funny that people really did not like my opinions on why the game was bad when the developers themselves not only fixed it in 2, but then when 3 came around, it was like the first game again without any of the things that bothered me in 2, because it was very clear that those things just didn't work without going into all of it. Xenoblade fans, you have to admit 2 is the most different between 1, 3, and 2 as far as gameplay, combat, and how the game works at its core, right? Splatoon 2. We already talked about Splatoon 3. What do you want me to say? Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. This was the first glimpse at where Nintendo was going with a lot of their games and their ideals and ideas as a company at the time. So 3D World's great, but this Bowser's Fury add-on that they did for the Switch. Also, I'm now realizing, I don't know if I'm an idiot or if anybody has realized this already, but this is what they're doing right now with Switch 2. I am now drawing the dots. This like box art split in like third down here with the new content and a plus. This was the first time they did that. And now it's like the enhanced edition thing for Switch. Nobody cares? All right, I'll keep talking. This was, to me, the first glimpse at where Nintendo were going with everything. You know, because Breath of the Wild, it was Zelda with no limits. It was open world. But at the time, it was the new one-off thing. It was, oh, this is where they went with Zelda. But then they did this with Mario, a big sandbox where every level or area of the game was connected. And as you walked over to the next area, it brought up the name of the area, but there was no load screen to go into it, like every other Mario has always been. Nintendo are definitely enjoying this idea of connecting everything in their games and like getting rid of load screens. Octopath Traveler, I think famously you have to say this is the first big third-party exclusive the Switch got. It's made by Square Enix. They even showed this off, I believe, in the first Nintendo Switch 1 Direct that they did that was an hour long. And yeah, it was, again, at a time where third-party support was kind of lackluster on Nintendo when they were starting to build it back up with the Switch 1. And Square Enix were the first people to really focus on making a big first-party exclusive Switch game. And it really paid off because Octopath Traveler saw massive success both on the platform and eventually off of it. And a lot of other companies took note and decided to do their own Switch games. Not as many as we would like, but the Switch 2 seems to be much better about that. Super Mario Party, funny enough, arguably the worst Mario Party. The worst Mario Party. This system had both the worst one and the best one. I have reviews on that on my channel. Paper Mario, the Origami King. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't like Paper Mario post GameCube. I don't know, Wii. The Switch and the Wii U's Paper Marios were passable at best. Very lackluster and didn't capture a lot of the charm that I enjoyed from back in the day with Thousand Year Door. And mostly it was just the way they kept trying to reinvent the wheel, quite literally with Origami King. I don't know why they kept trying to reinvent something that didn't need to be reinvented, and it just never really worked for me. Metroid Prime Remastered. While this is sealed, that's because I believe the physical came out a couple months after the digital. Using the word remastered for it almost does it a disservice because it's essentially a one-for-one remake, which I think is a better way to describe this game. Everything was remade for it. All the visuals, all the assets, all the graphics. It was built from the ground up. And I believe the story is while they were making Metroid Prime 4 and they had this like engine, they realized they could remake Metroid Prime 1 in that engine. And that's what this is. And that's why the game, if you put them side by side, this one is not just like HD remastered the old game, but upscaled. The whole game has been rebuilt as a one-for-one and looks so much better. Pokemon Snap surprised me. I didn't have any Pokemon Snap nostalgia. I'd never played it back in the day. And I played this one for hours, actually. And I was always excited when I unlocked a new map or a new area and I could go and snap some more pictures. And by the way, beautiful Pokemon game. One of the only times you can say that. A gorgeous Pokemon game. Fire Emblem Engage. I don't like you. I'm sorry. Fire Emblem Three Houses was awesome. They found a new format and formula that really worked for me. Taking that Persona type game and putting it into Fire Emblem, it was a perfect marriage, a synonymous conception, and I was enthralled and enthralled. And then Engage came around and it was definitely a more traditional Fire Emblem, but it was just so goofy and corny. Visually felt like a downgrade in many ways. It looked like a mobile game, especially in the combat. I just don't know what happened here. I guess they just went back to the traditional Fire Emblem format and that just doesn't work for me in the same way that Three Houses did. Scott the Waz's favorite, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. I say that every time I see this game and I mention it in a video. Scott the Waz's favorite game. A lot of people don't know what I'm referring to. I'm being honest. It's his favorite game. I did a video on my channel, best Nintendo Switch games reviewed by the best Nintendo YouTubers, which is a very conceited title. And I told him he could pick absolutely any game. Scott had first choice because it's Scott the Waz. He wasn't left with scraps. He could pick whatever he wanted. And he picked Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. So I guess if you want to learn about it, you can go and watch his video. But Kim and I did have a lot of fun playing it. You know, I don't know if I would say best game. We have another Pokemon Snap, probably the same case as Builders that was Kim's. That was supposed to be, and she did actually play that one. Mario Golf Super Rush. Now we're getting into an era, I believe. At some point, I realized while I started streaming, I think this is why this happened. I started streaming on Twitch, and I realized I could stream the games a day early if I bought them digitally off the Australian eShop. So a day before the games came out, I would buy it digital, stream it. Everyone in chat would be like, "How do you have the game already? Isn't it tomorrow?" And I'd get, you know, higher views because people wanted to see the game a day early. So it made sense to me logistically to then the next day go to GameStop and also buy it physical for the collection. It always felt silly to buy it twice, but yeah, at the same time it was for work, so it made sense. But Mario Golf, it was fine. I wasn't a huge fan. I thought the story mode, the single solo mode, was definitely lackluster, as many people did, and the actual core game just didn't hold my attention very long. We gotta burn through some of these, or else I really will be here forever, but Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, it's a Wii U game. I don't know if I even played it on Switch, to be honest. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. This is, sealed, maybe? Nope, but I don't like it. That was the last Mario Brothers game where they were still just phoning it in. They were remaking the same game over and over. And, you know, early on, I was reviewing those games or talking about those games, and I would always say that they're just the same game they've always been. And especially since the jump to the Wii. Ever since that first New Super Mario Brothers that they then did again and again, and the 3DS version, just adding in more coins, or this time you can be real big. It was the same game. It was the same art style, and it was boring. And I never understood the argument people had with don't fix what isn't broken or whatever it is they were would say, or they would try and justify that they were different in some way. They piss and weren't. They were the same game. And then Wonder came out. Mario Wonder released, and everyone saw what an evolution of 2D Mario could be, and suddenly Wonder was awesome, the best Mario. Why is it taking so long? Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying for years. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I gotta be honest, I tried hard to like that. I think I even reviewed it positively when it came to Switch because I didn't want to upset people, but it never really clicked with me. On Wii U or on Switch, I never really liked that game. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, this one just, I don't know. Just seems like a kid's game. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, also have no interest in replaying it. I didn't really like it when it was on 3DS. I just rebought it. Am I now realizing I don't like Nintendo games? I'm so sorry. I feel bad, but I keep pulling them out and going, don't like it. Am I a bad fan? No, I'm gonna keep going. I love Luigi's Mansion. 3 was one of the best games on the console, and 1 is still an all-time classic, but 2 just didn't hit for me. Triangle Strategy, oh my God, I'm such a jerk. Didn't like it. Oh God, guys, I'm so sorry. Kirby Star Allies, arguably the biggest waste of money on the console, right? The game's about 2 hours long. I finished it in one stream. I finished it in half a stream. I went live and then ran out of things to do because I'd already finished the $50, $60 game that I bought. It just also wasn't that fun. Bayonetta 2, oh, this game I loved. Bayonetta famously was like an Xbox game. Maybe it was a dual release back in the day, but I remember playing that on Xbox. Platinum Games, I love hack and slash style games. Bayonetta was incredible, and then they weren't going to make another one. I don't think it did well. I can't remember. And in a bid to recapture some of its hardcore gamer market at a time where a lot of the hardcore gamers had fallen out of Nintendo, they needed something to bring them back. So they decided to buy out Bayonetta and save the franchise. Obviously ended up getting ported to Switch, and then eventually we would go on to get Bayonetta 3, which I have. Don't ask me where it is. Here's Luigi's Mansion 3. One of the most gorgeous Nintendo Switch games. Really loved the visuals of this game. Definitely a contender for best looking game. And it really recaptured that magic of the first one for me. I didn't play much of the multiplayer, but boy howdy did I love the experience. I remember there was only one level I didn't like, and it's whatever one where you're on a little floaty in the river. I hated that whole level. I thought it was really clunky, and I had a hard time controlling the floaty. But other than that, that whole game was a A+. And I don't like Bravely Default. Wow, we are like getting a hit, then a miss, then a hit, then a miss. Oh, one of my favorite games in this section to have the Nintendo badge, Cadence of Hyrule. This was a crazy moment for Nintendo where they gave the IP of Zelda, the franchise of Zelda, to indie creators who made the Crypt of the Necrodancer games. Nintendo said, hey, make one of those, but with Zelda. It is, of my opinion, that indie games are a key part in why the Nintendo Switch was so successful early on. The games that really built their back on the console were games like Stardew Valley, which exploded in popularity on the Switch. It was games like SteamWorld Dig 2, which I quote this a lot on the channel, but it sold 10 times more on Switch eShop than on Steam, which was unheard of at the time. And it's very clear with games like Crypt of the Necrodancer at the time being so successful on the console, and Nintendo seeing that and going, hey, why not do a Zelda? Awesome for me because I got a Zelda game, but also awesome for me as someone who was already acknowledging and seeing that the indies were such a big reason for the Switch's success. People wanted indies, a craving for indies. Hollow Knight, you know, Celeste, you name it. So then seeing this come to fruition with Cadence of Hyrule, it made so much sense at the time, and the game is incredible. Loved the game. Moving on, we have Super Mario Maker 2, a goat. You know, not one of my all-time goats, but definitely my friend Bob, it's his favorite game on the console, and it's awesome. I'm just not that big into 2D Mario, so I played it a lot when it came out, but I don't really revisit it like he does. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, I was hoping for more from this game because I really loved the first Ultimate Alliance games. It's another random game that Nintendo saved. These two games, I played them on Xbox back in the day. ARMS, this is probably Nintendo's biggest regret. I don't know what word to use for it, but an early Switch 1 one release. It was the one that really leaned into the new motion control gimmick with 2 Joy-Cons, right? It makes sense when you think about it. Nintendo are probably sat there with their new Joy-Cons and they're like, well, I guess we can make a game with arms. And it kind of flopped. It was very fine. Again, there's nothing wrong with the game, but there's nothing that exciting about it either. It's just arms. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. This was awesome when it came out because by then I'd already reviewed Xenoblade 2 poorly, and some people that hadn't played the first one didn't really understand what my issue with it was. But then this came out, and I remember legitimately when I reviewed this, which you can go and watch that video, and I gave it a glowing review, loved my experience playing it again, and reminded myself why I loved it so much. A lot of comments around that time were, oh, now having gone back and playing this one, I do understand some of Wood's complaints, and it was nice to see that. One of the best RPGs of all time. Detective Pikachu Returns. I tasked Kim with playing this one because I didn't want to. She hated it. Yeah, she hated it. I don't know what to tell you. She hated it. It wasn't good. I saw some gameplay and I remember seeing how poorly animated and designed the worlds were. It's funny because you have something like Pokemon Snap, which is so gorgeous, and you would think that something like Detective Pikachu is another great way or perfect time to make a Pokemon game in gorgeous visuals because there's just not really much going on that you have to do. But they seemingly made it in like Scarlet and Violet's engine for some reason. You can't have a graphic novel game be that ugly because all you're doing is looking at stuff the whole time. That, and it ended up being kind of a baby's game. Mario Strikers Battle League. Without boasting my toast too much here, leading up to this game releasing, I had a really bad feeling that it wasn't gonna be all that, and I was streaming it, and I think I played for an hour or two, realized that it wasn't good, and at this point, we all can agree, right? This very average, very forgettable experience. But on top of that, I realized that all you could do is like a match, you know, just like one match. You know, there was no like other modes, there was no like story. So once I realized I had played the whole game in an hour and the base game wasn't that good comparatively to other Mario Strikers games, I remember I deleted it. That night, I was like, I'm never playing it again. And that got tweeted out and blew up, and people thought that because the game wasn't out yet, and no one else had played it, a lot of the comments were saying he just was a sore loser and quit. I won the game I played. It was just boring. It was bad. After a while, people started to realize, oh, the game just isn't good. But people were mad at me at first because they were really excited. I don't blame you. It just, yeah, obviously didn't turn out the way we wanted. Here's The World Ends With You, the one that gave me carpal tunnel. We already talked about it, so I guess we don't have to talk about it again. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I loved the new controls, even if they were a bit cumbersome, and I really enjoyed playing that game again, and I don't think I finished it again. I will say that I did enjoy playing it and the nostalgia was great, but I always held in my heart that the game was better than what people remembered or what people said about it. And going back and playing it, I did realize that people are right about that game. It is definitely the worst like main title Zelda, not counting like Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass and like spin-offs like that. I say this all the time, but even the worst Zelda game is one of the best games. But comparatively to other Zeldas, if you have to go back and replay one, you probably wouldn't start with Skyward Sword. There's not much there to replay. Mario 3D World All-Stars. This is sealed. I know I bought several copies of this. 3, I think I bought 3. This is famously that game that Nintendo said was a limited time, and we didn't know how much of a limited time. I remember it being on sale for like a year, and then all of a sudden it was just gone from the eShop, and then the physical stock started drying up. I think the 2 extra copies I have, I did end up giving away to people that I think Billy took one. Friends that didn't buy it, and then they were like, oh, I didn't buy it. Wood, do you have an extra? You essentially have a GameStop in your house. So I think I am down to 1 now. Go Vacation. I think I played this. I remember not liking it. Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training for Nintendo Switch. This one I do remember buying, and it comes with a stylus. It was a physical release only in European regions. I bought this the first time I went back to Australia, and I just remember being enamored with the fact that it came with a stylus and that the stylus works flawlessly with the Switch screen. God, I am doing such a bad job of being a Nintendo fan. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. This was another one that I was excited to get and replay, and then it just didn't age as well as I remembered. It's kind of like a roguelike dungeon crawler Pokemon game. It isn't bad, bad by any means, but I think what the issue is now that I've played so many games like Cadence of Hyrule, like Dead Cells, like Moonlighter, that it's hard to impress me with what is essentially one of the first, if not the first, roguelike style games like that. And that's not to the game's discredit, but just playing it all these years later just didn't really hold up to some of the more newer experiences. I did love Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I have a weird little special place in my heart for these turn-based XCOM style strategy games. I get a lot of satisfaction out of when one is done right, and the enjoyment in actually fully completing a battle where it feels like you strategize the heck out of it. But no, I just remember really liking it. I was fascinated by the fact that it was all done within the game world. That was really cool to me, and I really thoroughly enjoyed the story, the cinematics, the personality, and the game. The sequel, I feel like, accidentally took some steps back while trying to take steps forward. My biggest issue with it was you would see enemies in the world, but when you hit them or walk into them, it would trigger like an old school Final Fantasy style battle where you would load into a new area on a battlefield and the battle would take place there and not where you saw the enemy. Yeah, it just felt really repetitive because of that. Disney's Magical World 2 Enhanced Edition? I feel like this came in fan mail at some point. And then Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. This is a Jet Set Grind or Jet Set Radio future spiritual successor style game. It's very similar and very fun. All right, my God, we are now through the bucket and the first section of Nintendo games. All right, I guess we'll drop down to this next layer while we're already over here, even though I'm barely on camera over there. Persona 5 Royal, just like Dragon Quest, it took me years to actually finish this one. 10 hours here, 20 hours there. I swear it took me a couple years to finally get through it, but I did beat it, and it is definitely the best Persona game. It's so fun. 2-Point Jumbo Edition. I haven't played it. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger HD. I bought that to support the physical release because these are some of my favorite old school GameCube games. This I bought in Australia when I went back. They re-released it physically. It's just the first game in HD, and I still haven't replayed it on Switch. Walking Dead Destinies. I believe Monado Max, a fan of the show who always meets me in Too Many Games, gave that to me and said it was surprisingly good. I gotta tell you, Max, it's still sealed. I apologize. I will play it, though. Earth Knight. I bought this at the same Too Many Games, so I guess we're just in that section. This was at the limited run booth, and another fan met me or saw me in that booth, and they had this game, and they said it was really good, so I bought it, and I still haven't played it, but I do intend to. Oh, Impossible Mission. There were several of these games that I found once that were only download code games, and they all looked absolutely piss horrible. And I thought to myself, that would be a cool video. Like, I found these empty game cases or empty games on the shelf for 10 bucks. How bad are they or something? And I bought them all to make a video, and then I never did. I also was really excited for the Metal Gear Collection to release, and then everyone talked bad about it, and so I got discouraged from playing it. My friend Matt Thrillhouse gave me that game because he said he like bought 2 or something, and he also said it was awful. He said it did. He said it's an old NES game that did not hold up. Oh, here's Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope Gold Edition. Oh, yeah. Here's another game. This was actually in my bin for a long time. Sea of Solitude. I really wanted to play this. Persona 5 Tactica. It's sealed. I wanted to play it. I think I didn't play it because I wanted to finish Royal, and I really only finished Royal maybe like 6 months ago. New Super Lucky's Tale. This was back when I was living in Texas. The developers of this game, Playful, their studio was there, had a really awesome, beautiful studio they had just built, and they invited me to come and make a video about New Super Lucky's Tale. This is an awesome platformer. It's actually so fun, and this is the best version of the game. That was such a blast. God Eater 3, I did play that. I think it was a demo. I think I played that on Switch. Runner 3, I played this for a video. It's a game where you run. BioShock The Collection. Did play this. BioShock are some of my favorite games. 1 and 3, I love a lot. Infinite. I don't like 2 that much. It felt really disjointed. But 1 and 3 were awesome games and some of the best early ports on the system. Also, the original Doom port is here. Obviously, I played this a lot, and I've used it as a reference in a lot of videos. Probably the first, the first big third-party port that we got. There's a lot of cool ports in here. Look, Borderlands Collection now. One of the best ports on the console, No Man's Sky. I had just got addicted to this game playing it in VR, and then it released on this console, and man, Hello Games have gone so far with this game. I can't believe the things that they've done since launch, since the disaster that was their launch, and making a working and playable and actual competent Switch port is definitely a miracle. So too is Wolfenstein 2, another miracle port. And I did play this on this console as well. They also ported over the additional thing where you play as like the two daughters. And I think that was digital only and it was co-op. I have that digital. If you're watching this far in the video, it's very clear that I'm only talking about physical. If you don't see something here that I should have, I probably have it digital. Like I have Mario Kart digital, which is why it's not in my collection. And I'm not, that's too much. You know, we're just doing physical. Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy. I bought this at the Nintendo New York store, which I still find so funny that I went to the Nintendo New York store and bought GTA Trilogy. It just didn't seem like something they would have on the shelf. Also, famously, that was a horrible port and horrible remaster of the games. And then they fixed them, and I thought that meant they would fix the Switch one, but then someone in my comments told me that they didn't fix the Switch version, so apparently it's just not fixed. Fatal Frame. This is also sealed. I hate myself, but I really did want to play this when it came to Switch, and I didn't. I did play it on Wii U. I played it on Wii U, I think. Endling Extinction is over. This is an indie game that I wanted to play. I think even Kim bought that for me, and it is still sealed. Klonoa, it is still sealed. I wanted to play those because I heard such great things. Horsetails Emerald Valley Ranch. This is not sealed. I played this a lot because I was going to make another horse video. Another weird thing in my career with Switch early on is I just started making videos on horse games. I don't really know why that started. I guess just an early Switch game that I found that was really bad was a horse game. And I do remember back then that if you could find a bad Switch game, like just a really bad game, it didn't matter who made it or where you found it. People wanted to see bad games on Switch. Like, it was like weird. I think it was like validating for some people that thought the Switch was, you know, an underpowered console. Like my video on WWE 2K18, for example, which I don't have physical anymore because I remember as soon as I was done with my video, I sent it to Dreamcast Guy. Like I mailed it to him because he wanted to make a video on it. So I think I just gave it to him. I don't remember if I sold it. I feel like I gave it. I apologize, Max, if you bought it, but I think I just gave it to him and I was like, you can have it. I might have sold it. I don't know. But yeah, people just wanted to see bad games, and I guess I was just buying into the rage bait. And I was like, well, here's a bad horse game we can all laugh at. And that video did so well. And then apparently there's just so many horse games and they're all pretty bad. Eventually I found this one, which is made by somebody who said they were sick of all the bad horse games and wanted to make a good one. And that's just so perfect for me because this was also pretty bad. I saw the dream and I played it a lot at recording footage. And then I was just like, I don't want to make another horse video. I've made so many. And at the point where I've made one where I actually go and ride a horse and take care of a horse for the video, and then one where I go and sing to a horse, where do you go from there? Potion Permit. A lot of people said this game was worth playing, kind of like a hidden gem. So I bought that and never played it. Baldur the Guardian Owls. This game was one I was looking forward to because it looked like Ni no Kuni. And then Switch Up, I believe, were the people. Reviewed it very negatively and said that it was not a good port. And so I got discouraged and I never actually started it. Super Neptuna RPG. I honestly don't know why I have that. Considering a lot of these games, I've had a reason for buying it. And this is the first one that I'm saying I don't know why I bought it. Might seem sus based on the picture. I do not know what this is or why I bought it, and I mean that in all sincerity. I don't know what that is. Tell me if it's good. Monster Hunter Stories 2. I forget about this game all the time. I forget this exists, but it's actually really fun. It kind of took the Monster Hunter Stories from 3DS that was very Pokemon-y and very baby-y, but like fun, and sort of matured it up. And it hit this really interesting point between being a Pokemon game and being a Monster Hunter game. I remember a lot of repetitiveness in it, and I don't know if I finished that one either. I know I played it a lot though, and I did really like it. Dragon Ball Fighters. This is a game that went on sale every single week since it came out. It was like a $70 game with all the gold expansion, and it was always on sale for like a nickel. Yeah, it's an incredible fighting game. I just wanted to own it on Switch. Fishing Star World Tour. I feel like this came with a fishing rod, but I don't know where the fishing rod would be at this point. World's End Club. This was a game I was excited for a while because I loved the look of the art style and the game direction in general. And then when it finally came out, I kind of lost interest. Funny, same story with this one. Waited for that for so long because the art style looks so intriguing, and apparently it got a lot of really great reviews. And then it finally came out and I just didn't get around to it. I did play Disney Illusion Island with Kim. This is a co-op Metroidvania style game. It's kind of like Ori, but with Mickey Mouse. Skyrim. I mean, what do you say? Where do you go? One of the first Switch ports right there next to Doom. One of the first games we ever saw running on the console in the reveal trailer for the Switch. Oh, here's Altaria Riser 3 that I was talking about. No More Heroes 3. This one, I think I actually might have got that early. But regardless, I got it. I really liked the story and the combat. I felt like it was an adequate sequel to the previous games, but visually it was an absolute nightmaric mess of a game. But the actual game wasn't too bad. It just lost a lot of points for being so hideous. De Blob 2. I barely remember this game, but I remember really liking De Blob 1 and picking up De Blob 2. Oh, speaking of No More Heroes, we also have Travis Strikes Again here, sealed. I didn't really know what was happening with this one at the time. It was more of a top-down style No More Heroes game and a spin-off of the No More Heroes series. Darksiders Genesis. They put a lot of Darksiders games on the console, and this one is another top-down style game. This game's actually really fun and underrated. Cave Story Plus, another early indie gem. Tiny Barbarian, another Nicalis indie game. There were so many of these on launch. Mercenary Sagas Chronicles. I kind of remember it. I don't know why I have it, and I feel like I don't like it. Street Fighter 2. This was a launch window game for the Switch. Mortal Kombat 11. Was this the good port? I remember there was a good Mortal Kombat port. I think it was this one. It was actually pretty solid, which was surprising because then the next one went on to be one of the worst ports. Soul Dam. Drop, Connect, Erase. Who knows? Who knows why I have that? Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. I recently went to a Shovel Knight live in concert, invited by Yacht Club Games and Celia herself, and it was a lot of fun. I have not played all of these spin-off Shovel Knights though, I gotta be honest. Maybe I dabbled in to like do an eShop review, but I don't think I really ever committed to playing that much of them. This one though was an absolute blast. So much so that I then bought it physical from Special Reserve, I suppose, since this is where it's from. My friend Pedro, Bullets, Bananas, and Blood. Anyway, I did finish that one. The levels are so creative and it was just so fun. Ari and the Secret of Seasons. I remember trying to play this for a video, I think because it was like a really rough port, but I barely remember that one too. Also, No Straight Roads. This is a game I got digital and really enjoyed. The whole game is set to music kind of like Hi-Fi Rush. When we went to Australia, we found it physical and I tried to buy it and the guy was like, oh, we don't have it. And I remember being sad about it, and then Kim must have taken note of that, and then for my birthday or Christmas or something, whatever the next holiday was, she snuck that into my Christmas stocking. RPG Maker MV. This is sealed. I probably wanted to make a video on it and then just didn't. Mutant Year Zero. This is sealed, but I did play this, so I guess I have it digital as well. Rocket League Ultimate Edition. I'm really glad I bought this because I feel like now that it's gone free, that this is going to be one of those really hard to find games later, because who the hell is going to buy it now? A lot of these games that are still ongoing, like Fortnite, Rocket League, I always love them at launch, and sure, maybe I play them for a few months to get really competitive with them, and then I move on. Like, I feel like everybody should. I don't know why we're all still playing Fortnite and Rocket League. You know, there's so many good games out there. Like Hello Kitty Cruises. I haven't bought Hello Kitty Island Adventure yet physical, because the physical came out after the digital, which I hate when they do that. And I can only assume it's because they want to double dip on people that want to then buy the physical. But That game's really fun. Voyouise. I bought this digital when the Switch came out. This was one of the earliest Switch games. I remember people making a big deal about it, in fact. Like, it was just at that time where every new game dropping on the eShop was big news. And yeah, this dropped and it was big news. It was a really fun rhythm game. Retro City Rampage DX. I bought this for the collection, but I had previously played the games already. Fairy Tale. I bought this because I heard it was like a big RPG adventure type game and I thought I would like it. And then I don't think I actually ended up playing it. It's still in the back of my mind. It's still one of those games where I'm like, I should play that. But I've never even seen the anime, so I don't know what I was thinking. Battle Chaser Night War 2017. This came out. So this must have been one of the very first Switch games. And I remember talking about it early on because it was one of those first games. And I do remember liking it, but not loving it. Monster Harvest. This game had so much potential. I think I made a video about this on the channel because the game was completely broken at launch. Yeah, the potential was really there. It's a farming sim just like Stardew Valley where you grow your own little monsters on the side and then you can battle with them maybe. I had a lot of fun with this game, but as I said, I put hours into it, like 30 hours into it. And then I realized the game was completely broken and like certain seeds weren't growing and certain things weren't hatching. And yeah, it was a mess. And I made a video complaining. And then to their credit, I think they fixed it. I think I had someone reach out and they were like, saw your video, fixed it. And I was like, okay, thanks. I've already made my video though. And I didn't really feel like making a whole nother one. And I didn't feel like playing the game again after my game had broke, but maybe I should go back to it. I think it's a net positive though. Even though the game was kind of a mess when I reviewed it, I still talked about how much I wish it was not a mess because of how good it was. It did inform a lot of people on the game. People found the game because of my video. So it's still, any publicity is good publicity. Cooking Mama Cookstar. This is a fun one to talk about. When this game came out, it was hard to find because it was immediately ripped from the shelves. In fact, I heard it was getting pulled from shelves and I don't think they ever re-released it. I'm not sure. So I went and bought one really quickly. And I think it is a hard game and an expensive game to find now. It's a terrible game. The original creator of Cooking Mama denounced the game and said they weren't involved. And it really is just like a poor cash-in Cooking Mama. But on top of that, it was so badly designed and optimized that it was overheating Switch consoles. And people found in the game's code a possibility that it was like crypto data mining on the Switch or something. I can't remember. But then people had a theory that that's why the Switches were overheating because it's doing some like weird crypto data mining thing in the background. It was a mess. Really, I think what it was is it was just a bad game that was optimized poorly. And also, I think the guy sued him too. I think there was a whole nother element to it where the game wasn't ready to go out and he said it wasn't ready, but they forced him to release it and he tried to get it pulled from the eShop. There was a whole thing. I barely remember, but yeah, there was a lot of drama around that game. I apologize for not remembering it exactly. Persona 5 Strikers. This is another Hyrule Warriors, Dynasty Warriors style game, but with the Persona series. Has Been Heroes was a very early GameStop developed game for the Switch. And I actually liked it. And I have 2 copies of it. And initially it released with a spine that wasn't uniformed to Nintendo. I think they did this because it was such an early release and GameStop was self-publishing. So they just did whatever they wanted with the spine before Nintendo really made it clear, because there was like 10 games at the time. Hey, our spines have to look like this. They have to be like boring, you know? So then they re-released it with this new one, and I bought both for that reason. I was like, well, I'll buy both because they're like variants, you know, of a really early GameStop game. Yeah, really didn't hate it. I remember those people at the time didn't like it, and because it was one of the early games when there wasn't many games, it got way too much attention than it deserved. But for what it was, I thought GameStop did fine. I'd have to replay it, but I thought they did fine. I have another Lucky's Tale. This, I think that's because they literally just gave me a a bunch of copies of the game while I was there. I think they gave me something to give away, and I did. And I must have just ended up with 2 still. Bendy and the Ink Machine. Great game that I didn't play on Switch. Hell Waters. Oh, I know where I got this. I'm pretty sure I got this in Australia, in Shintokyo. It's in my video, my Australia vlogs, but growing up, I would always go to Shintokyo, and they do a ton of import games. And yeah, they do import Switch games now since I've been gone. And I bought Hell Waters. And Vampire. I bought the physical, but I was actually given the digital, and I believe I did a sponsored video for this game on my channel, and I really liked the game. You play as a vampire, and you suck blood, and you use the blood to do blood arts and cool things. While I'm doing some like imports and talking about Shintokyo though, down here, in this section here is my Australia games. These are all the games that I bought while I was in Australia or Europe or UK even. Ippon Marathon. This is a very goofy game where you try and run and there's obstacles. It's kind of like Fall Guys before Fall Guys. And I actually imported that one for a video with Kim, and I don't remember why or what the video was. Transformers Battlegrounds. You probably just saw this in my UK video. That was a gift for spending more than $30 at the store. And that $30 was spent partly on this, Borderlands 3. It was on sale for 20 bucks at a game in UK. So was this one, We Love Katamari Reroll. I haven't played that Katamari yet, but I did play the first one on Switch. So was this, Tachia. Great game. It's kind of like Wind Waker in a way. Horrible port. The Switch version is not very good. I can't recommend it. Hopefully it's better on Switch too. You Suck at Parking. I've heard really good things about that game, but I also got it at UK along with Songbird. I just grabbed random games because they were on sale. Dark, I don't remember getting that. It looks interesting. Fox and Forests. So Kim got me this game years ago. 2018, yeah. It was probably one of the first things Kim ever bought me when we were dating because she thought it looked cool. And I have no idea what it is. And she always asks me, did you ever play that? And I'm always going, no, it's still sealed. I don't know what it is. I'll play it one day. Loop Hero, I bought that in UK. A great indie game where you just go around in a loop and you have to keep upgrading yourself so you can survive the next loop. Guns of Mercy. Actually, I believe this is a European import that I bought here in New York City at J&L. And that's probably in my New York City game hunting vlog. I think I just thought it looked cool. Windstorm. I think someone sent me this. They sent me a horse game and they told me to play it. And I don't know if I did. The Dragon Quest games. This says PG on it, so I must have bought this in Australia. I guess I don't have to play these now, though, because they just remade them all. Rhyme. I only had the loose cart all these years. I bought it from GameStop, I think, in one of those early GameStop what did they send me videos. And they sent me the loose cart of Rhyme. And I never had the case for it, so I finally got it. Rhyme, by the way, was probably the first Switch game that got a lot of bad attention for being a technical mess. Like, performance was horrible, really bad frame rate drops. It was one of those early on, like, Switch haters and Switch deniers were like, see, it can barely even handle Rhyme, which was true, but again, it's because, like, the game was just optimized so poorly. Last Fight, this was in that game, the Marathon Ippon, that was one in that video. I don't remember why. I don't remember what that video was. Velocity. I also don't remember buying this or where I got this, but it's European apparently. Skabama that I did buy in Australia recently. Haven't played it. Broken Sword. Don't remember getting that one. A lot of these European ones might have been fan mail too, if I don't remember buying it. But I did buy that in Australia. I did play. I played it in bed after I got home from Australia. And I don't remember what I thought of it. Trine 5. Kim and I played Trine 4. And I was surprised she really liked it. So I bought Trine 5. We haven't played it yet, though. Chicken Police. Kind of like Disco Elysium style game. I'm not sure why my Ys 7 or Ys 8? Ys 8 probably. Is apparently European, but this was a very early Switch game that I really enjoyed, and I've always recommended it to people that like Xenoblade on Switch, that, hey, you should check out Ys. And Xenoblade fans, they're so weird, man. They always get weird when I say that. They're like, the games are nothing alike. They're very alike. The combat is different, but the vibe is the same. If you like one, you'll probably like the other. Speaking of games with weird spines, Darksiders. This is another cool story of an early Switch game. Darksiders doing a black spine. And it looks so sick. It really does. And Nintendo were pissed. They said, THQ Nordic, you cannot do that. So they had to re-release it quickly with a red spine. But if you were quick enough, you could get this black spine, which I'm now realizing is not only a black spine, but actually does have some artwork on it too. So it's really custom and really cool, and it really stands out in the collection. And they weren't supposed to do it. They got in trouble and then had to reverse it. And to this day, the only other black spine, and we'll get to it, and you can kind of see it if you zoom in on that weird wide camera, the Labo games also did a black spine, but that was Nintendo, so I guess they're allowed to, huh? I don't remember getting these. I think they were handed to me at Too Many Games, but 1 and 2 premium editions of just some random games I got physicals. Super Blood Hockey and Pigeon Dev Games Collection. No idea. All right, so that's all of the European stuff. And then just to finish off this section, we have the Let's Go Pikachu, Eevee, and Pikachu. I don't know why I said it like that. With the Pokeball pluses, so I got like the big packs for me and Kim. Fate Extello Link. I think this was, again, something a fan gave to me. Or maybe even they sent that to me. I think they just sent that to me now that I remember, and I never played it. Crystal Crisis. This is one of those games where the Nicalis came together with all their characters. There's Astro Boy. I don't want to start naming them. You can see. But I played a lot of these indies, and then seeing them all come together for this puzzle game was actually really fun. We also have Lego DC Supervillains, which really wasn't a bad Lego game. Pokemon dual packs for Scarlet and Violet and for Shining Pearl and Diamond. And then Nintendo Switch Sports, which wasn't really the game I was hoping for. I liked all the mini games. I liked all the sport games they made, but I really wanted that to be like a big multiplayer fun game, especially to like stream with friends. But in general, you know, like Wii Bowling, you want to play it with somebody. And they had like the massive Wii Bowling mode, and you couldn't even find that many players online. They made it so it was X amount and then NPCs, or if you tried playing with a friend online, you couldn't then go online. You know? So like if me and Bob played online together from his house and my house, we then couldn't search together online to play with 12 other people in bowling. You would only be able to play offline with NPCs. So you're online, but then you're forced to be offline. Just so many weird things like that. And then there only being like so many games that you can play with 2 players or 4 players. It was kind of a mess. And I wasn't really looking to play on my own or with NPCs for the most part. Yeah, it was just very lackluster. It was fun for a night, which isn't really something that you want to spend $60 on, which was my issue with a lot of Nintendo games. Anyway, I've been filming for 2 hours and I've really enjoyed your company. I hope you've enjoyed mine. I can't physically not talk anymore. And also all my cameras are dying and my memory cards are filling up. So I'm going to take a pause. And then tomorrow, which you're going to see instantly, I'm going to come back and we're going to do the rest of this in one quick shot. Okay, hi, I'm back. Hello. Did you miss me? Day 2 of this. I have not washed my hair. I apologize if it looks awful. Lego City Undercover. I believe I met up with a guy at a coffee shop in like a Craigslist deal or Facebook Marketplace deal to buy his Lego City Undercover for 20 bucks. I completely forgot about this. It was like memory unlocked. And I remember the game had just came out and it was $60. But I asked him, I was like, why only 20 bucks? And he said, I just hate it. I remember him so vividly telling me it sucked. I really like this game, actually. This is one of the better Lego games, and it's a completely original story. It's kind of like GTA Lego. All right, then we have Taiko no Tatsujin. A lot of fun playing this one on stream. It came with the big drum too, which, yeah, it came in here. Gal Metal. I think I got this at an import store somewhere. I have some recollection of buying it in some city, but I never actually played it. I just thought it looked cool. My Riding Stables Life with Horses. I don't know if this was the first horse game, but it was definitely one of them. I really loved making I think this is the video that Curtis Connor had a collab in, which is one of my favorite collabs that I've done just as a longtime fan of Curtis. Poi Explorer Edition. Don't ask and I won't tell. Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap. Man, another early release game. It was a beautiful remaster of the old Wonder Boy game. They did such such a fantastic job with this. Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. I love Xbox 360 era video games in general, and I missed out on this one back in the day, and I picked it up to play it on Switch, and it was fun. Yeah, I don't think I ever reviewed it or talked about it. I just had a good time with it. Victor Vran Overkill. It's a Diablo-like game. Pretty much the same thing. Just picture Diablo. And I played it through with someone. I don't remember who though, but it's very good. It's actually a very good Diablo-like game. Sports Party. I'm pretty sure this was one of those GameStop games that I got when I bought out a GameStop. Blade Strangers. This is also one of those Nicalis collaboration games with all of the indie characters coming together for what I believe is a Street Fighter type, Tekken type, Final Fight type, you get the idea type fighting game. All-Star Fruit Racing. This was for a video that I did with Kim where I think I was buying random GameStop games and then seeing if they were good. I can't recall completely. And I do recall actually being pretty impressed by this one. Everspace. Played this a bunch, and 20 bucks for the Stellar Edition is honestly a steal. It's a roguelike spaceship style game where you load into different areas and then complete different tasks and space battles, and yeah, think Hades, but in space. Batman, the Telltale series. I am a huge fan of Telltale games. I don't care what you got to say about them. Blue Fire. This was a more recent indie release, and unfortunately, I didn't find the Switch port to be all that impressive, but the actual game is really good. It definitely gives me Zelda vibes, like mixed with like a Dark Souls-y type setting, I suppose. Risk of Rain 2. I have a soft spot in my heart for Risk of Rain 2. It's a fantastic game if you haven't played it. Like, you can just find so many upgrades, abilities, and items to just add on until you become a god. And it's just a lot of fun. Oddworld Munch's Odyssey. Never played it on Switch, I gotta be honest. Dead by Daylight, easy, didn't play it. Resident Evil Triple Pack. This is sealed. I had high hopes of playing this and then never did. I also believe this is one of the many games that includes the game cartridge for Resident Evil 4 and a download code for 5 and 6. Almost all the Resident Evil packs on the Switch only have one game on it, and then the others are downloads. This is Beatemups and the Quest for Morning Wood with new Funky Kong mode. This was a fan sent this to me. I don't know, I just kept it. Man, I'm wearing a Shawn Michaels shirt. There's a screenshot of when my house flooded and I'm spamming B for some reason. Oh, I don't know if I ever even... Did I ever even open it? There's me in Ark inside. There was so much work that went... I don't know if I ever actually opened it or if I just forgot. A lot of work went into this, and that's why I've kept it. And it's actually in the game room. It's been just placed in the games. And sometimes people come over and they pull that one out and they're like, what is that? I don't have time to explain. This War of Mine, this is a fantastic 10 out of 10 game. Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection. Again, this was just my hubris of wanting to own these games on the Switch. Yomawari, The Long Night Collection. I bought this with Kim one day because we thought it looked interesting, and I did play it, and I remember thinking that it was indeed interesting, but it never really stuck, but it did seem like a good game. I just bought the sequel to Shaq Fu. Lost Sphere, another early Switch game that people really gravitated to because it was just something to play. Harvest Moon, which one is this? Light of Hope SE. I always intended to do a video on Harvest Moon games because they're so bad now and they keep shoveling them out on Switch and they're just like bad mobile games being ported to the console. I had a lot of ideas for videos over the years, but I couldn't make them all, you know. Warriors, Orochi 4. Couldn't tell you where that came from, and I also haven't played it. Team Sonic Racing. Have played it, thoroughly enjoyed it. Trials Rising. You're on a bike, and it's like a 2D side-scroller, kind of, and you just do tricks and flips, and it's by Ubisoft, and the Switch port was pretty good. Taxi Chaos. I bought this at GameStop once, and my intention was to make a video, and I never did. Or maybe I did. I don't remember. Dark Souls Remastered. It's Dark Souls. I bought it to play it, and I did play it, and I don't really like it. Hogwarts Legacy. What a game full of controversy. I hate talking about it. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't like giving it any attention just because the woman behind it is an absolute nightmare of a person. So I won't, and I'll just move on. Burnout Paradise. A fantastic Switch port. Burnout Paradise is one of the best racing/driving games ever. It's a giant playground that you can race in and break stuff. Oh, and just like Rocket League, we have an Overwatch. Full game download. Yeah, so there's no actual physical in here. I don't think this is something that'll even be worth money one day because the Rocket League one at least has a cart inside. This is just a download code. So honestly, I don't even know why I bought this other than I do find it fascinating that you can buy just nothing. And I'm the sucker that bought it. Ark Survival Evolved. Back when I bought this, it was the worst, one of the worst ports. Just absolutely abysmal. And I just wanted to own what was one of the worst games on the console. And then recently, they completely scrapped the build they had for it on Switch and they rebuilt it. I made a video on that. And it's really good now. Bladed Fury, no idea. I just want to move on. I have no idea what that is or why I have it. Lost Worlds, this is one of those $10 full game download that we talked about earlier with that spy game. I just bought it with that to make a video and then never did. Hello Neighbor, I don't know. I don't think it was a good port either. Overcooked. All right, I have a bunch of Overcooks in here scattered around. These are just because the games are sick. Staple Switch games. There are just certain games that found a home on the console and felt like they belonged there all along. And Overcooked 1 and 2 are definitely those games. Diablo 3, I bought this in hopes of finally enjoying a Diablo, and I don't know if I even played it, but this is actually apparently, and I know this because I did a video about it and I learned it while I was making a video about it, one of the best Switch ports. And actually one of the best ways to play this game. And also, there's a Ganondorf armor set in it. I did not know that. Sonic Frontiers, this is sealed because I also have it digital because I bought it for a stream. And it's a horrible, horrible way to play the game. I made a video about that on the channel. You can go and watch it. It's just a really bad port. Stop me from talking about Starlink Battle for Atlantis. Atlantis, I always say Atlantis. It's Atlas. I always unintentionally say Atlantis. I don't care what you gotta say about it. This one was so much fun. An early Switch game that cross-released on all consoles, but on Nintendo Switch, there was a whole Star Fox element added in where you could play as Star Fox and it had a whole extra storyline with Star Fox. And it was Star Fox if you could not be on rails and you could actually kind of live out your Star Fox fantasies. It hit for me. I did actually like it quite a bit. Oh, here's the Youngblood. So they did do a standalone, so no download code, but it does have a buddy pass system like the It Takes Two game does, where only one person has to get the game, and it's Wolfenstein. Yeah, so you play co-op Wolfenstein. Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero. I played them because I had never played Minecraft before whatever video on my channel it is where I play Minecraft for the first time, and I didn't think I would like a game like that, and I ended up really liking it, and then after playing Minecraft for a while, I was like, okay, so what else have I been missing out on? Because I liked Dragon Quest Builders, then I got into Minecraft, and then I saw Subnautica, and I was like, okay, so it's kind of like those games, but underwater. And yeah, that is what it's like. And it's very good. Played that a lot, actually. Still haven't played the sequel, though. Gallic Z, I don't know what that is. Tell me down below if that's good. Northgard, I also don't know where that came from or why I have that. I haven't played it or heard about it. Death's Gambit Afterlife. I do think I tried this because I think it looked like well, that's so funny. I was about to say because it looks like Salt and Sanctuary, and that is the next game, and that's probably why they're together. Oh, and then we have Story of Seasons. Speaking of Harvest Moon, funny, I actually still haven't played that either. My intention was to play them all when I was making a video, and then I still just haven't made the video. Oh, here's a good one, a banger, honestly. Immortals Phoenix Rising. I really liked this game. It's another one that I feel like got a bad rap, and maybe I just like the Ubisoft structure sometimes, and in this case, it was literally Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I really liked it. And no, not just because I was sponsored. All right, now we have, I forgot I had this, a whole Alteria saga of games. Sophie, Lydia, Ferris. Never played any of them. Then we have the Assassin's Creed 3 remastered. Super Putty Squad. It's another one. There's about 4 or 5 of those of the download code games that I bought all at once for 10 bucks. Here's another one right next to it. Fruitful Crush. I don't know. I think I really did miss them all. Here's another one right next to it. James Pond. James Pond? Codename RoboCod. Please tell me why I never made a video about that, for Pete's sake. Moving Out. If you haven't played Moving Out and you like Overcooked, it's quite literally Overcooked if you were a furniture moving, like helping people move house company. This, I know for sure, came from that GameStop video where I bought every game at GameStop. Another, I think this might be the last one. They are Play It games with the download codes. That is Rally Races for those not watching the video anymore and just have it on in the background like a podcast. The Book of Unwritten Tales 2, God knows. There's definitely a lot of God knows in here. I don't know why I bought some of these. Children of Morta. I have some recollection of talking about this game or playing this game, but I don't know what it is. Or maybe I didn't and I just bought it. I don't know. I don't remember. My Hero 1's Justice 2. Underrated fighting games. Hidden gems, I dare say. The first My Hero game is just a straight fighter, kind of like Budokai Tenkaichi, but with My Hero characters, and I loved it. All right, and then the last game in this category is Little Friends, Dogs and Cats. I think Kim wanted me to grab this one, and I'm not sure if she ever actually even played it. Let's move on to the Japanese section. I don't know if this is going to take longer or be the quickest section, purely because I really haven't played most of these, but I can tell you where I got them in Japan and why I wanted them. To start with, we have these two that haven't actually made it into the collection. A friend of the channel and friend of me in my life personally, and pretty much family at this point. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, me. Is Gift and Shim. These are from Matt Thrillhouse again. Gifted these to me. They went to Japan recently and they brought back gifts, and these were for me. And I gotta say, he nailed it because these look so sick. I don't know if they have multi-language for me to play them, and I don't know what they are, but they looked cool and he got them for me, so I love them. Good place to start. I Am Setsuna. Yeah, I imported this back in the day. Ender Lilies. This is just a sick game. I played this digitally for an eShop video. It's like Dark Souls, 2D side-scrolling Dark Souls. There are so many of those. But in this one, you play as a young girl who can capture spirits and the spirits fight for her. And it's really, actually really great. A really great game. That didn't get a physical here. And that's going to be the case for a lot of these. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because it helps make my point. Eastwood. By the way, these Japanese box art's gorgeous. Their art is so much better than ours, man. This did not have a physical here. It does now, ironically, I believe. You can get it, just go to GameStop and get it, although it is a different cover art. This I got on my most recent trip, I believe at Bic Camera in Japan. I saw people buying this. I guess it had just come out, and I was like, oh, I guess if it's good, I'll grab it. For most cases, when I'm in Japan, unless I just really like box art, which this could be the case, look at it, I will only buy it if it says it has multi-language, so I can actually play it, even though I was learning Japanese, but have severely fallen off. So I'm assuming most of these should have multi-language if I bought them. And again, really, it's just gonna be based on me thinking the game looks sick, and this is Alba Wildlife Adventure. This one is Summer in Mara, and I had played this one previously on the eShop. Again, very Wind Waker-y in the way that you traverse and you have little islands that you have to explore. This one, I believe, I literally bought because I thought it looked sick. I do think this one might have had an English, but I have no idea what this is. Dragon Quest, I do remember where I got this one. It was in the Mandarake in wherever that Mandarake is, that I bought things at both times I went on the trip. It became like a little Dragon Quest store. The first time I went there, I bought the blue Dragon Quest controller, and the second time I got Dragon Quest X. It just felt fitting, and I was looking for that anyway. Here is the one that everybody was buying when I went to Bic Camera, so I was like, okay, I guess I gotta get that. And I did play this one. This was one that I actually did play because I wanted to find out what the hype was all about. Turns out it's a sequel to a long series of game, and it's kind of like a slice of lifestyle game. It's just about enjoying Japan in the summer as a kid. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Chrono Cross, let's blast through these because I haven't played a lot of them. Again, it's just because I wanted them. I'll tell you if it's because I wanted it, because I like the game, or I just wanted to have it physical, or if I thought the box art looked sick. Let's do that. Thought the box art looked sick. Belt Action Collection. This, I don't think it got a physical here, but in English, it was actually Beatemup Collection, not Belt Action. I'm not sure what the translation is there with Belt Action, but I bought it because it had my name in it. That was it. I mean, they're good games, but, Chocobo Racing, Final Fantasy X and X2, Ace Attorney, and I know this one didn't get a physical, and that's why I bought it. Daedalus, I bought this one because it looks sick, but it is also multi-language, I'm pretty sure. Work X Work, Okami. I wanted it physical, and this looks sick. Look at the box art. tell me that you wouldn't have bought that if you saw it. Oh, this I got in a Super Potato, and I got it purely because I thought the cover art looked sick. It's also a graphic novel, and I don't like those. World of Final Fantasy, just wanted to own it, never even played it. Don't even know what that is. It was probably cheap in Japan. Kim wanted to get this because it had birds on it. I don't remember what the story was with this one, but it's some weird like software type game. YouTuber Life 2. Kim and I made a video on the channel years ago about YouTuber Life, the video game, that did strangely well at the time, considering it was just me and Kim playing a game. And we ended up doing this game when it came out, the sequel, but that was just an eShop game. There was no physical. So I was surprised to see it when I went to Japan, and then obviously had to buy it. Felt serendipitous. The Tower of Children. It has English on the side, so I'm guessing it's multi-language. Again, I think I just thought the cover looked cool. No Place for Bravery. This one was full English on the cover. I got this in Osaka. And I'm pretty sure I found out later that you can buy this at GameStop here. But hey, mine has Japanese katakana and hiragana on the back, so, you know, I'm cooler. I think this was really cheap. I remember this being on sale, and Kim and I thought that it looked like Bug Snacks. I think that was the only reason we bought that. And I don't know. I kind of remember buying it, but I don't remember why. This was another one that was in all English, and I thought it looked okay on the back. And it was probably also cheap. Oh, I bought Fitness Boxing in Japan because I thought that was the only place you could get it physical. And I think I might have been wrong about that. I mean, I got mine in Japan, so I don't know what to tell you. Giraffe and Annika, a really weird name for a game that I remember kind of being hopeful that it might be fun and that I might be discovering something weird. Never played it. Same with this one. I remember it being cheap. And Snow Brothers, I got this for Kim. Oh, Melon Journey we picked up because Kim and I had just gone to PAX before we went to Japan. And she played this game a little at PAX and she liked it. It's made to be like an old Game Boy game, even like the green art style. This was one that I wanted to make sure I picked up. So Yokai Watch didn't get a physical in America or outside of Japan. In fact, this game doesn't even have an English translation outside of Japan. But a lot of people say that it's a great way of like learning Japanese because it's like a kid's game. It's kind of like Pokemon. It's kind of like baby's first video game in Japanese. You know what I mean? Legend of Mana. You know the story. I just wanted it physical. Ultra Age. This was a really cool game that came to Switch. It was 30 bucks, and I did not know it had a physical in Japan, and when I saw it, I grabbed it. Serial Cleaners. I just thought this one looked cool. This is the part of the video where Simon ruins by coming down and just screaming at me for a while. Oh, I always liked Crystal Chronicles. It was one of my favorite GameCube games, and I was really excited for it to come to Switch, so I bought it physically. And then I can't remember exactly what they did, but they messed up the online. There was something about the online and playing it 4 players or something that people weren't happy with. It didn't work or something. I don't remember. Metallic Child, who knows? All the Dragon Quest games, I feel like I already showed that, but in English. So I guess I have that twice as well. Densha De Go. It came in a big box that's around here somewhere that has a train, I don't know, a joystick. I don't know what to call it. It's like an actual like simulator setup with a speed joystick thing. It's like a whole giant controller just for Densha De Go. It's the only game that it works for. Fatal Frame. Apparently I have this twice and haven't played it once. Metal Dogs. This just looks sick. Look at it. Puppies. Doggos, Metal Dogs. The game sucked. I did try that one. It was not good. Hentai versus Evil. I also made a video about this. Who knows? Who knows what that is or why I have it? Also this, Gundam. I'm assuming they were just cheap in Japan. Young Souls. Oh, I think I actually have 2 copies of this then. I didn't know I had a Japanese copy because I started playing this recently. This is a really good beat 'em up game, and I literally just started it fairly recently. Really great direction, fun controls, and yeah, just a really great beat 'em up game if you haven't played it. This one I did not get in Japan. This is from J&L here in New York City. I say here, but you know, like an hour or 2 away. I remember going to J&L and seeing this $100 price tag on it and thinking to myself, why is there a $100 Switch game? But I remember looking it up and finding out it was actually a very rare game. It's a Square Enix game, and it was actually a very rare game. and actually worth a little more than 100 at the time. And I was making a video too, and whenever I'm making a video, I feel more inclined to pick up stuff. So I was like, screw it, I'll pick it up. Then we have Hell Waters, which I also got that same day from J&L. I think it was also a harder one to find. I have 2 copies here of this Final Fantasy game, which I'm not too upset about because 1, Final Fantasy IX is my favorite Final Fantasy of all time, if you didn't know. And 2, this is one of the coolest, sickest cover arts to any Switch game because it is technically sideways, which I've just never seen done twice. Manifold Garden and Clanad. Manifold Garden, I remember the person that gave that to me really recommended it, and there's a ton of awards for it on the back. I've actually never heard of it, and yeah, I still haven't played it. I'm sorry. All right, that's all the Japanese, actually. Let's finish this little section, and then I can put this back together, and then we can move on to another section. So just finishing off this little section here, we're back to normal games. The Coma, never played it. I picked up Terraria because a lot of people said it's like Minecraft. It's like an early 2D Minecraft. I mean, I know what it is. I'm talking about it like I've never heard of it. I know what it is, believe me. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. You know what it is. I didn't think it was all that great a second time. Dragon's Dogma. I remember being excited at the idea of playing this game on my Switch because I'd never played it before. I thought it'd be like Skyrim. And I think I did start it, actually. I got a couple hours in. And it's not like I wasn't having a good time. I guess this is a good chance to say that obviously I have a lot of games, right? And I think a lot of people are going to find it silly how many I haven't played. But it's because this is my job. My job isn't always to just play Dragon's Dogma. Like, if there's some reason for it, if I'm trying to review it, sure. But typically, I'm playing things that I need to review. Or if I'm not, I'm playing games with friends and trying to relax. A lot of things I buy, it's because I have an intention of making a video and then I don't get around to it. Or, you know, like I've said, I just wanted it in the collection because I'm a fan of the game and I'm a collector, so I wanted to own it. Sometimes I start games fully intention to play them and then I never get through them. But there's also this big part in my brain that buys all these games, even though I know I'm not getting around to it, because I'm excited at the idea of one day when I have time. I know it sounds silly, but like maybe when I'm retired or like, you know, years down the line, I can start going back through some of these games and playing them for the first time. And I get really excited at the idea of like having time and having this. That is how I feel. And I honestly, I do look at even things like Dragon's Dogma and I'm like, oh, one day. Sid Meier, and I forgot that Sid Meier was not in here and it's a full game download. I gotta be honest, don't remember buying it. I've always liked the idea of playing these games, but the Switch way of playing it has always seemed like the worst way. Switch 2, I'm sure, will be a much better way of playing this, but Switch 1, not so much. Oddworld Collection, I like the first Oddworld, so I don't know. I actually, yeah, oh, yep. The Oddworld and this Nerf Legends game, these 3 were definitely GameStop, me buying out GameStop games. I'm pretty sure if you go back through and pause the video when I have all the games on the table, you'll see all of those. I remember Nerf Legends specifically. And then Minecraft Legends. Is this the one that I played on stream, or is this actually, wait, if this is the newest Minecraft spinoff and not like the dungeon crawler one, then this probably was also in the GameStop thing, and that's why it's also sealed. We can tell a story about a Minecraft game that I was thinking when I saw that, but whatever Minecraft game it was, that was like the first big spin-off one that was like a dungeon crawler or whatever. That was the last game that Nintendo gave me, and it was kind of part of the whole drama of them dropping me. Not really, but like the story was connected. So you might remember, and I'm sorry that I don't talk about it that much. Honestly, I don't talk about it that much. But it was also like a big part of my career. So yeah, it comes up. I don't know why I'm getting mad. I used to work with Golan, which is the company Nintendo used for their PR. They would send me games, but like never, you know? Like it would be codes for games ever since the 3DS, when they gave me physicals of Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story or whatever, and Miitopia. They sent those out to creators, and one of the creators on the program dumped the ROM online because they used to send the games out to creators on the program, and it was great until someone dumped a ROM of the game. Nintendo got pissed, and they said, never again. We're never sending out physicals of games early, and from then on, they would only send codes out on the day, which kind of sucked because, you know, Before that, you could get a head start on reviewing and playing the games, and you could get a video out day one when the game releases, and then all of a sudden, you just don't have that ability anymore. Whoever it was that dumped that ROM, by the way, if you're watching this, you suck, because you really ruined that for everybody. So they were giving digital codes for a while, and then those really slowed down. For me specifically, I was barely ever getting codes, and in that final like year or two of working with Golan, I maybe got sent like 1 or 2 things max, and Minecraft was the last one they sent me. There was the spin-off Minecraft game, and then they couldn't get it to me until like 3 days after the game came out. By that point, I'd already bought it and streamed it. And I remember I messaged them back and I was like, don't worry, it's been out for 3 days. I've already bought it. And I wasn't mean. I just said I don't need the code. And the reason why I said that is because when Nintendo and Golan sent you codes, no matter what kind of coverage you did of that game, you had to put free game. Like free game, Nintendo free game, or like hashtag, so everybody knew that you got it for free. And I didn't. I paid for it. I bought it. But that wouldn't have mattered. If they gave you a code, you had to say free game, even if you bought it. It was like part of the deal. You signed that. So I told them, I don't want this because I'd already bought it and I was already making content and I didn't want to have to start retroactively slapping free game on everything, which they would have made me do, and they've done that before. And I didn't want people thinking that I got it for free because I didn't. And you don't really say no to Nintendo, by the way. Like, as soon as they offer you a game, and everybody used to say this, if they offer you a game code and you say no, they'll never offer you one again. As soon as I said no, and I was like, you know what, don't worry about it, I already have it. I promise you, I don't know if I could find the emails, but it was days later, if not the next day. Like, it was around the same time, within the same week for sure, I got the email saying I was dropped, which is why I was so hesitant at the time to believe that it was because of the mod video that I made. Because I was like, really? After all this time working with you, you're dropping me out of the blue? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's because I said no to Minecraft Dungeons or whatever it was. Anyway, that's the long-winded story on that. And we never really did get an answer from them until I did a podcast episode with Kit and Krista. And then Krista told me it was because of the mod video, which I believe her wholeheartedly. But I also think it was a multitude of things. All right, we got to focus up. So we've covered this and this. This and this. We still have this and this and that, and then this, and then all of these like special editions. So Gory Cuddly Carnage, I got that recently for that GameStop video and I was quite impressed by the port, even if it was a bit ugly. Near Automata. It is one of the best ports on the console. Sonic and Shadow, I bought this day 1 edition and I have not opened it and I have not played it. TikTok Destiny Connect Clock. I never played it. Long story short, this was in the GameStop video recently, The Seed of Life. Probably the worst game, the Switch game I've ever played. If you saw the video, you saw the video. Same with Harvest Days. This is just the section of World War Z. These are all from that GameStop video that I did very recently. Neptuna Riders vs. Doggos or Dugus. Revita. Finally, Lego Horizon Adventure. So if you didn't watch the GameStop video, go watch it, but I got all of those in that video. Oh, I completely forgot that Super Bomberman R also had one of the crazy spines where you could actually do something fun with it. Yeah, I have Sid Meier's. I was like, Civ 7, I'm pretty sure that wasn't a code. Okay. So I have this twice as well. Great, cool. My Time at Porsche. This was a cult classic little niche hit on the Switch. It's kind of like Stardew Valley. It's an indie game. They've made a bunch of these My Time at Something games now, and they're all crowdfunded and kickstarted, and they're really not too bad. Sin Mora X. This was an early Switch game that is probably one of the best shoot 'em up games of all time, and got a lot of rave reviews early on. This is the Police. Whoop, whoop. This is the sound of the police. I don't know what that is or why I have it. I'm gonna be real with you guys. LA Noire. Disappointing that Rockstar only really supported the Switch with this, and then eventually the triple pack of the remasters. No, well, that's a lie. They finally did Red Dead recently. But I did feel like for a majority of the Switch's lifespan, Rockstar really didn't help out and support like all of the other companies ended up turning around and helping. And I would love to see better support from them on the Switch too. I'd love to see a Bully remastered. And then of course, I would love to see Red Dead 2 get a port on the Switch. You know, we already have Red Dead 1 on Switch 1. It makes a lot of sense. I guarantee you the Switch 2 will be able to handle Red Dead. That was on PlayStation 4. XCOM. Actually a pretty big fan of XCOM. The Outer Worlds, notoriously one of the worst ports, and I was thinking about this recently. I would love to see them bring this up to speed on the Switch 2 and do a free, hopefully, enhanced version utilizing the Switch 2's power. I've been playing this on the ROG Ally X, and it looks phenomenal on that. So there's no reason why the Switch 2 shouldn't be able to actually handle it now if they put in the work. And by the way, fantastic game. Now that I'm playing it officially, right now I'm doing a playthrough on my ROG Ally. Really like it. Really great game. It's essentially Fallout, but in space. I was thinking about that recently, though. I wonder how many of these older, crappier ports will get some retools and reworks. And I think Witcher 3 is a prime candidate. It's CD Projekt Red. They're doing Cyberpunk right now, and they're probably learning a lot about working with the Switch 2. I wouldn't be surprised if they take whatever they learn here with the Cyberpunk port and just kind of put it over onto the Witcher port and bring it up. And, you know, I just think it makes sense. It makes sense. Zombieland Double Tap, never played it. Sorry about that. Collection of Mana, I played it on Super Nintendo, but not on Switch. Remy Law, Binding of Isaac. I mean, what needs to be said? That was a banger game. Overcooked 2. I've already talked about it. Oh, yes, let's blast through. Okay, another great port. Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. If you haven't played this, the Switch port goes hard. So clean, so crisp, so fun. Such a great game. Really hidden gem that people didn't even know about. And I'm glad that it saw some extra life on the Switch. Kill la Kill the game. This is actually another great fighting game of an anime. I really enjoyed this. I picked this up because of My Hero and how much fun I had with that, and I thought I'd give this one a shot. And I did pretty good. I had never watched the anime, and then after playing this, I went and watched the anime, and that was pretty good too. Trine 1 to 3. I have not played that, but I've played Trine 4, which I got at the same time. Valkyria Chronicles 4. I haven't played that. Don't know why I have it. Candle. I kind of remember buying that, but I don't even know what it is. Grindstone. Grindstone was an indie game I fell in love with. This was in one of my eShop videos. It's a puzzle kind of game where you draw a line through enemies and then your little character will slice them all up. It's roguelike as well, and it's so satisfying to play with such a great art style. And I had it digital, and then I wanted to buy it physical, and I think I bought it physical at PAX or some convention I went to, and I just wanted to support it and actually own it physically. We talked about Cadence of Hyrule. Well, here's Crypt of the Necrodancer. If you haven't played this, highly recommend it, obviously. Apex Legends. I just wanted to own it, even though you don't own it. And here, you can take that code because I ain't gonna use it. Yeah, this was another unfortunate port. I don't really fault Respawn because they really tried. I don't know why they decided they wanted to put Apex on the Switch, but they definitely bit off more than they could chew, and they committed to it. They kept delaying it while they were working on it to make it as good as they could, and then to their credit, it's on the Switch, and it's free, and it runs, but it's very ugly, terrible frame rates, hard to play, but I think they did the best that they could, and they clearly tried very hard. Would love to see it get that Switch 2 treatment. Soraya Wild Hearts, another awesome game set to music with great visuals if you haven't played it. Surviving the Aftermath. I actually heard that game was good, and I picked it up because I heard it was good and didn't play it. Guacamole 1-2, Punch Thing Collection 2, Guacamole, sorry. I bought them on the eShop for maybe even the first eShop video I ever did. And then when they got physicals, I jumped on it because obviously they were a lot of fun. Child of Light and Valorant Hearts combo pack. I mostly got this for Child of Light because that is a fantastic, really old game at this point. Super Cane Magic Zero. I hope I put this in a video. I bought this as part of a video, and I don't remember if it ever came to fruition. Pretty sure it was part of the Nippon Racing and the other weird game we talked about that I played with Kim, where I imported some strange games and actually ended up liking this one. Penny Punching Princess, another really fun indie game that I found early on. Mega Man X Collection, what do you need to say? Disgaea 5 Complete, what do you need to say? I've never played a Disgaea or whatever. I buy them thinking I will, and then I never do. Disney Classics, I mean, it's the old Aladdin and Lion King. No idea what hover is. Carry On. This was an indie game that I did for an eShop video that I then wanted to buy physically, or maybe possibly even was sent, because Devolver Digital, if they can have a moment in this video. I've been talking to Clara again recently, actually, who was the previous public relations manager at Devolver Digital. I love her so much, and I love Devolver. The people working at Devolver, they are awesome. But long story short, Devolver was just a company that reached out to me, and it was Clara initially working there. And they were like, hey, do you want codes for our games? And then she would always send me codes, like usually early, but no matter what game it was, if it was coming to Switch, she would make sure to email me. And then she started giving me 2 codes so that Kim could play as well. No matter what the game was, she would always give me 2, and she's just such a sweetheart. And the people at Devolver were so nice, and it was never like no money ever exchanged hands. It was always just, here's a code for our game, and I would almost always find a way to put them in an eShop video to say thank you, but also because Devolver games are almost always sick. I mean, Carry On, I can guarantee you if you go to Carry On Steam, it's probably got a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. You play as a big blob alien thing, and you just go, you 2D Metroidvania around eating people, but the games are always so fun. You can see Devolver on Spines, and I guarantee you if I find another Devolver game, look, it's my friend Pedro. Apparently I have 2 of these as well. I don't know why, because I definitely bought this. Yeah, again, I talked so highly about my friend Pedro. Let's go back a second. Let's remember where we were and see if I can find another Devolver game quickly. Here we go. Oh, that's my friend Pedro again. My point is, if it's a Devolver game, it's gonna be fun. Caballera the Hunt. I don't know if I ever talked about this, and I don't think it was this game, but very early on in my Switch career, my management sent me 2 games that used like a gun. And one was like this, kind of Gabalas. It wasn't this one, but it was like that. It was a sponsor deal, and they wanted me to do a sponsor video. And the games were so bad. Like, they didn't work. It was horrible, like, it's just horrible and fun, like funnily bad. Remember what I was talking about, trying to find games that were bad and funny? It was that. And so I told them, I'm canceling the spot. That's without question. I'm not talking about these positively. And I asked them, can I review them anyway, but make fun of them? And my management, I remember they were like, please don't. We don't want to upset the brand that we're working with. You know, they sent you the games for free. Please don't trash them in a video. And I remember at the time I was like, oh, but it would be so funny. And I've kept them. And I always wanted to do it. I was like, one day I'll make fun of it. And now it's like too late. It doesn't even matter. Like, no one would even care anymore. It was definitely like a 2018 or 19 would be the prime time for that. But I just thought of that when I saw Caballera. I don't know. I just went on a tangent. Attack on Titan. I bought this well before I watched the anime. I was about to say I played it recently, but I don't know if I did actually. But recently, I did watch through all the anime about 9 months ago, and I know that because I was watching it when we found out Kim was pregnant. That is like the best anime ever. Remothered, I don't know what that is. SteamWorld Dig 2, the game that I so famously quote all the time for selling 10 times more on Switch than Steam. Mega Man Zero X Collection. Wild Guns Reloaded. I remember that was a big deal, funny enough, when that came out. So it must have been like a 2018 era. Yeah, 2018. I tell you now, like, if you weren't there for that first year of Switch, you really don't know what it was like. But even this made like a pretty big noise in the online, like, YouTuber space and like articles about Wild Guns Reloaded coming to Nintendo Switch. The old Super Nintendo game re-released for like $40. 2 new characters, each with their own weapons and tactics. This was big news at the time because we were just dying. That's what I'm telling you guys. Like, you don't either you don't remember or you weren't there, but in that first year, we were dying for Switch games. Whatever would come to the console, we would buy. That's why I constantly talk about the regret that a lot of these third-party companies had not being there at launch, because even something like Wild Guns Reloaded did really well and made noise in the ecosystem because it was just there. That's what it was like, man. That's why Doom and Skyrim were so successful. Crash Team Racing, of course, a classic. This is the Katamari that I did play a lot on Switch, and not getting ahead of myself too much, but I also have this Katamari reroll stuffy thing that I got from Best Buy, this plush. And it says that it comes with the game. But what I didn't know is they printed the game on the receipt when you buy it. And I threw away the receipt. And so when I went to play the game, I realized that I just had the stuffy. So dumb. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. This is a Castlevania-inspired game made by Koji Igarashi, and it was crowdfunded, and it ended up being really good. Wargroove. This is a Chucklefish game. Chucklefish does some of the best pixel art out there. They also did Eastwood. Actually, I don't know if that's true, because there's developed and published games by Chucklefish. I'm not sure which ones they developed and which ones they published, but they seem to only deal in games that have beautiful pixel artwork either way. And Wargroove was a Fire Emblem type inspired game. It was a Advance Wars style game. Either way, it came out at a time where people were kind of craving those kinds of games, and I don't think we had them yet. So it was kind of 2019. I'm not sure when Three Houses came out, but it was kind of at the perfect time for this game. That's all like generic third-party stuff. And then this little bit here is actually limited run games. And then the limited run games also extend down there and then also into all the collectible things. So I think what we'll do is we'll put a pause in this section here and we'll come back to it when we start hitting all the limited run stuff. And my brain is wanting to say this now, even though we're not at the limited run section yet. So I guess I'm just gonna say it now. For limited run, I initially wanted to buy every single Switch limited run thing. And I did that for, I wanna say, a year or two, no matter what limited run put out. And if you don't know what limited run is, let's just go into limited run now. And then we'll come back because I'm already here, right? What they do is they take a lot of these indie games or even just great games that are on the Switch digitally, where the publishers and developers of these games only planned on doing a digital release because they didn't think they had the money or the resources or it was worth investing time and energy in making a physical. Limited Run comes along to these companies and they say, what if we did the physical for you? And then once we make our money back on the sales for whatever production costs were, you and I split the revenue like 50-50 or whatever deal it is they figure out with the company, right? So limited run is kind of in it for like no risk because they're going to make their money back eventually and then start making money. And then the company was never going to do a physical release anyway. So now they're getting a physical. They don't have to produce it. And eventually they just make money from it. So it's kind of a win-win, and a lot of these companies sign up for that reason. The trade-off here is that we get some of our favorite games physical. Now, where people get upset is that they're limited, right? So sometimes they're limited to 3,000 or 5,000. A lot of the times with the Switch copies, what they've done is they've just taken orders. And it's a limited window of orders, and then once the window closes, they cut it off and they make as many as they sold, which is probably the best way to do it. We wouldn't have it physical otherwise. Some people complain because they're like, oh, it's limited, I can't get one. Yeah, well, without them, it wouldn't have existed in the first place. So let's go through my limited run collection. As I said, I was trying to get, and they're in no particular order, by the way, because it's me. They are numbered at the back. So this is number 16 I have here first. And as I said, I was trying to get them all, and for a year or two I was. And then they started Limited Run did a great job at first at picking a lot of the games I would want to get physicals. And then I feel like at some point they became a bit more loose with it, and they were just giving physicals to things that I'd never even heard of. And I was trying to buy them anyway because I wanted to I really wanted to stay up with it and have every single one. I just thought that would be cool. But at some point, they released way too many, way too frequently of things I didn't even know what they were, and I just gave up. And then I started just buying the ones I wanted when they came out, when I saw them. And unfortunately, I missed so many that I wanted. I found out later, I'm like, oh, they made that physical? Damn. So we have Broken Age, which I do actually really like this game. It's a point-and-click style adventure game where you play as two different characters, and it's made by the people that made Brutal Legend and Tim Schafer, Psychonauts, Fame, and a ton of other games that I really liked. I don't know. I would have, that was definitely, that was number 24, so I guess I was still buying them at that point. Another World, I had heard of this game. I think this is also a really old school point and click. Windjammers, this one I was actually excited to buy. Bomb Chicken, no idea. Grandia HD Collection, Cosmic Star Heroine, this is number 20. I can guarantee you I bought that. To the Moon, this was number 97. I think I actually just wanted this one. To the Moon was part of like an RPG maker, I think. Just a gamer guy made a little RPG kind of story narrative focused game within an RPG maker, and it was To the Moon, and people really liked it. Thumper, I actually really liked the metallic cover that they had. Oxenfree, I really liked this game actually. This was number 10, but I would have bought this regardless. It also had a fun metallic cover. It's another point and click. Man, they did a lot of point and clicks, didn't they? Oxenfree, though, probably one of the best point and clicks ever. Return of the Obra Dinn, again, this is like a narrative kind of point and click sort of first person Myst style game, but in a really interesting art style, I guess you could say. Star Wars Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast, the dual pack. I bought this because I wanted it. I'm a big fan of both of these games. I played them back in the day when I was a little youngster. This is number 69 and 70. Nice. Have really fond memories of playing Jedi Academy or Jedi Outcast or whatever. Jedi Academy, I believe, is the one I remember playing on PC when I was much younger. The Longest 5 Minutes. This is not actually limited run, but this is a hard game to find. I don't know why it's in this section though. Moving over to here, we have super rare games, which we will talk about, but I'm going to dip down to this little part here because it's the rest of the loose limited run. Something I didn't say yet is I actually, especially early on, was trying to get all the special editions. So what I would do is I was trying to buy all the limited run games. So I would buy them loose like this, like just standard, if I didn't really like the game that much or care about the game that much, which isn't always the case because Oxenfree, I really liked that game, but I don't know why I didn't get a special edition of that. But if I really liked the game, I would get a special edition. But yeah, so a lot of these standards were just because I was trying to collect them all, but didn't want to invest in a special edition. Alien Isolation. Actually, this is number 191, and I got it last year at Too Many Games because limited run goes to a lot of the convention circuits near me, and they were at Too Many Games with this and Persona 4 and 3. These are actually incredible to get to own. So these are numbers 213 and 214, and yeah, just fantastic to get to own those physically. And I love that limited run got to be the company that did a physical release for them. I mean, honestly, you think Atlas would. I don't know why they wouldn't. But the fact that these almost didn't get physical releases is criminal. Even Alien Isolation, which I talk about a lot on the channel, is one of the rare occasions where a Switch port of this game actually looked better than the PlayStation 4 version. And the game itself is sick. So there was a lot of reasons for me to want to own these and pick them up, obviously. Then we have Aegis Defenders. This is number 34. So I was just still buying them at that point. Same with Freedom Planet. Dragon's Lair Trilogy. This was 36, but I definitely would have bought this one. These are an old school arcade style adventure game. The whole thing was a quick time event, essentially. If you know it, you know it. Rogue Legacy. The Escapist Complete Edition. This was number 30, and I don't really care. Toe Jam and Earl. This was number 29, and definitely would have been excited to pick this one up. I'm actually surprised that I didn't get any kind of special edition for this one. Back in the Groove is the new one, actually. And I kind of remember not liking it that much, now that I'm thinking about it. Knights and Bikes. This was number 96, and I bought this because I wanted it. Kim and I played Knights and Bikes together. It's a Double Fine game as well. It's really cute. It feels like an indie, and it's a great co-op game. River City Girls. This was number 45. It has a great holographic cover, a spiritual successor type game to River City Ransom. Fantastic. It's a beat 'em up. What do you want me to tell you? It's really good and you should play it. Saturday Morning RPG, Giga Wreckers. This is number 33. And I can tell you now, it was probably about here I was starting to wonder why I was buying all of these. This is number 42. Again, no idea what this even is. Doesn't really even interest me. Double Switch. This is number 41. This is an old FMV style game. You can see here the cutscenes. Again, I was definitely getting burnt out around this time. Missplosion Man as well. No interest, but I bought it. Blazing Chrome. No interest, but I bought it. Pixel Junk Monsters. This was number 4. And I don't know what that is. Star Wars Force Unleashed. 146. Bought it because I wanted it. I love Star Wars Force Unleashed. Another one, I'm just shocked that Limited Run had to do a physical for this. I actually made a video on my channel for this game as a sponsorship, completely separately to all of this. And I wanted to do like a big Star Wars little like short film for it. I wanted to go all out for the sponsor. And I got COVID, I remember. Like I got actual COVID at that time. If you go back and watch the video, I talk about it. I went out with COVID. And I remember it was a hot Texas day and I was getting overheated and felt like I was going to pass out. And I just had to stop. I was like, this is not a good idea. And then I cobbled together what I had shot into something for the video. But the funniest part is I bought a real like expensive replica lightsaber and learned how to do like a spin trick with it. And it took days to learn how to move with it freely. And Kim and I learned together, which was actually kind of fun, learning it with Kim and hitting ourselves a bunch on accident. There was one really cool shot that we got that day of me spinning the lightsaber around in a silo filled with dirt and garbage, which I then made to look like I was standing on a sand hill on a moon or something. It was cool. And then Duck Game, and that was number 46. There was like a bunch in there that were like 44, 45, 46, 47. And that is clearly when I stopped, you know. There's just like 5 or 6 games in a row that I was buying just to keep buying them and keep up with the numbers and just didn't even know what the games were and had no interest. And, you know, it was my job at the time to buy Switch games and to talk about Switch games. And having this collection behind me, I always saw it as like part of the business, you know, in a way. Like, within reason, I always saw it as like, you know, if I'm buying a Switch game, I can claim it on tax, and it's part of the set dressing and, you know, having all the... I also, in my mind, I was like, one day I can do the video, I bought every limited run Switch game, which I thought would be a sick video, which is why I was doing it initially. I was like, it's for a video, it's for a video. But yeah, at that point where like 5 or 6 in a row of like Pixel Junk Monsters, Blazing Chrome, Double Switch, Duck Game, Time Spinner, Giga Wrecker, you know, I was like, this is too much. I also was buying them because Doug was a great friend at the time, and I wanted to support him and limited run games. So, you know, that was another reason why I was doing it, but I just gave up. Maybe, should I stand up for this? I'm gonna have to stand up eventually. But let me go through the limited run special editions that I bought. So, if I bought a special edition, I obviously loved the game. I loved the game enough that I wanted the special edition, or I thought the special edition looked really cool. And that is the case for this first one, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Apparently, it's a really good fighting game with Power Rangers. I would love to play it one day. Never did. But I did buy this. It's number... Oh, it doesn't say on the back of the special editions? That's a huge oversight. It should say on the back of the special editions what number they are, Doug. I love Power Rangers. I grew up on Power Rangers. I don't even have this photo. I wish I did. I went to a fancy dress disco in primary school dressed as the Black Power Ranger. I loved Power Rangers. And this came with like a Power Rangers actual medallion in it. And I just thought that was really sick and I bought it. What do you want from me? Streets of Rage 4. You know, I often say I don't like beat-em-ups. It's funny that I don't like them, I know. But there are some really great beat-em-ups, and Streets of Rage 4 is one. This one, Momodora. Fantastic game and just some really cool pixel art. And I've always loved the art of this game in general. So that was mostly me just wanting the art of the game. Then down here we have, well, first I'll get this out the way because it's not limited run. This is just Cuphead. It's a special edition Cuphead with the new like Chalice character in it. I think I bought this at GameStop or something. Oh no, maybe PAX, I don't know. West of Loathing. This is a point and click style game where everything's a stick figure. It's intentionally kind of crappy looking in that way, but at the same time, it's awesome looking and it's a great game actually. This is not limited run, but while we're here, Eastwood, I got this like little collector's edition at that Pennsylvania little hole-in-the-wall game store that I said I found. I got this there too. I was like, oh my god, you have like a limited... I've never even seen this. It's just like a black box of Eastwood. I don't even know what's in it, but I bought it. They did a massive Samurai Jack collector's edition. Like, it's huge. And I'm pretty sure the reason why I got it is there's a big figure inside. I'm guessing of Jack himself. You guys are gonna hate me. I've never seen Samurai Jack. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if the game is good. But I thought the figure was really cool, and I heard good things about the game. So I was like, oh, I'll buy this and I'll try it out. But as I said earlier, I don't open these things because I would rather just buy it digital and play it without having to break the seal on a big collector's edition. So I don't know what it is in my brain that was like, oh, you should get this. It has a really cool figure in it that you'll never see because you don't want to open it. And maybe you will like the game, but you won't know because you're not going to open it and find out. I might need actual like psychiatric help. I don't know. I don't know what my brain does sometimes. This one though, I have no regrets in the world, even though it's, shut up, it's sealed, shut up. Scott Pilgrim, the complete edition. This is somewhere I never thought we would be. The Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up is my favorite beat 'em up of all time. It is just phenomenal. The art, the combat, just the progression of the game in general. Really fun, and it was removed from online stores for years. And then it came back, and then they did this big physical edition with a briefcase. This is like really heavy. I can't remember what's in it right now. It's been a while since I bought it. This is number 94. But the idea of actually not only owning the game physically, finally, after all of these years, but owning a giant briefcase collector's edition was something that I just couldn't pass up. I do feel like I have to keep defending myself, and I do apologize for the collector in me. But yeah, I know, they're all sealed and I won't open them, and shut up. I do feel bad. I don't know if it's OCD, I don't know if it's ADHD, I don't know why I feel like I have to explain it or justify it, but I just don't want to break the seal on them. I bought them to collect them, I bought them to keep them safe and to have them and to hold them and to cherish them, okay? So yeah, let me have it. All right, and then down here in this lower section, we have the Space for Unbound that I bought at PAX that I told you about. We have my Ring Fit. I'm just doing this section because I'm here. There is some limited run in it, so I'm just gonna burn through it. One of the first special editions I got from limited run, I don't know what number it is, but it's a dual pack. There's Mercenary Kings on one side and Flint Hook, and then this one was the one I really wanted. Flint Hook is an awesome indie, one of the very early indie games on Switch. The big ass size of Samurai Jack box, but this time a game I do actually I have played and I do like. The Streets of Rage 4. The new sequel to Streets of Rage that they did a fantastic job with. You know, I gotta stop saying I don't like beat-em-ups. I say it way too much considering that I really do like a lot of beat-em-ups. It's just not my favorite genre. It's not my go-to genre. I just do enjoy beat-em-ups. We have The Gardens Between, actually a super rare game, and we haven't got to those yet. You explore little dioramas. I don't know how to explain it. It's been a while since I played it too. This one's massive. Luminous Remastered. Luminous I played for the first time, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly either, I apologize, on Vita, and I really enjoyed it. And here it is. It's like a rhythm music type game. Also, when I used to have the cube shelves, this would fit perfectly flush in one of the cubes, and it was always so satisfying to me. It sucked that it took up an entire cube to itself, like an IKEA cube shelf cube, but it was always so satisfying that it sat so perfectly flush inside. And then this, while we're here, is the first thing in this video that's not for Switch, but I'm gonna show it anyway because I'm here. It is the Monkey Island limited run. It has Secret of Monkey Island, LeChuck's Revenge, Escape from Monkey Island, Curse from Monkey Island, Tales of Monkey Island. Up till this point when this came out, it had every Monkey Island. And then they released the new Monkey Island game, which is on Switch. This one is open because I wanted to open this one. This is very special to me. That's why I bought it, even though this is PC and not Switch. I attribute Monkey Island as a large part of why I became a video gamer. And this is my little certificate here. It's number 645 of 7,000. And it's signed by RG, Ron Gilbert, I believe, the creator of the games. Growing up, I attribute a couple of points of my life into me becoming a video gamer. One, and a major one, is when I saved up money and I bought a 64, which was my first video game console. I mean, I had an NES growing up, but it was technically my parents', you know. The 64 was mine, and I got it with Ocarina of Time, and I'd never played a 3D game before. That was the moment I was sold on gaming, and from then on out, there was no question in my mind. I loved video games. Other than having an NES in the house, house, which was the other main one, you know, growing up with that in the house and my mom and my dad being into video games. My uncle loved video games. And every time we went to my grandparents' house where he lived, he had a little PC nook and he was big into PC games. And this was like a whole area that I was never exposed to outside of his house because none of my friends were into PC games. Like he was older by like 10 years and just had more adult tastes. And he had a ton of point and clicks. And he had like Leisure Suit Larry, which I wasn't allowed to play. He had Myst, which I was allowed to play, but I was always very confused by it. And then a very cartoony looking Monkey Island. And I remember playing both of those every time I went over, hours on end. Loved, like adored those games. I adored the humor. I loved Guybrush Threepwood. I'm honestly getting emotional thinking about it. It was just very special. And I thought my uncle was so cool. So I thought I was cool playing my uncle's games. And it's why I love point and click so much. It's why I have that whole affinity and love in my heart for point and clicks. And I'm always willing to try out a new one. Yeah, and that's why I kind of, you know, when people don't really understand point and clicks or they don't understand Telltale, to me, it's kind of like, I don't know. You just didn't grow up with it. You just don't get it. You know, there's something about it. There's something so special about it. Anyway, that's not even Switch, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it. Limited run. This is like special editions and like, you know, whatevers, but none of these are limited run, so we're gonna come back to these. I know why I'm doing it. It's fun. I like it. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I have more limited run, and I'm gonna talk about that, but without scattering too much, I want to finish this section and then we'll move on to other sections. So here is super rare games. Now, super rare games do the same thing that limited run games do. And super rare games came about during this Switch era. And they started, I think, with the Switch and Nintendo, I'm pretty sure. And they actually, after doing a couple of releases maybe, reached out to me. And this was a guy named George, who I love and I still contact frequently. That's the guy that owns and operates Super Rare Games. And he was like, hey, I want to do a Super Rare Games, something similar to limited run games, but I feel like there are a lot of other games out there that get passed by or don't get a look in from limited run, or maybe I could like offer them a different deal kind of thing, but do a similar thing. And I was wondering if you want to help me with this and announce the games on your channel and be the first one to announce them. So it was cool. I did this 2 or 3 times for him where I would make a video announcing like the 10 next super rare games, like the 10 next games that were going to get physical. And it was like my own little direct in a way. It was really awesome to get to do. I mean, my channel was smaller at the time, but Nintendo focused, and it was just really cool. It was a really nice, it felt really indie and fun. I will say that as my channel grew and exploded in popularity, it did hit a point where he would give me the sheet of the next 10 games and I would look at them and I wouldn't recognize any of the games. You know, I had no connection with them, and I was busy doing other videos that were, at that point, I'd figured out what was working for me and what was doing really well. And me doing a whole video now on like, here are these next 10 games felt almost like disjointed, and I knew it wasn't going to perform super well for me. I felt bad, but it got to a point where I was like, this doesn't really make sense. Like, I'm not like the face of this company, so like I gotta move on and like do other things. To his credit though, George always sent me the games for free. He just sent them to me for free. And even once I stopped doing that, he still sent them to me for free. And then even there was a point where when I moved here to Pennsylvania, I forgot to tell him that I moved because I wasn't thinking about it. And after a while, he messaged me and he was like, we should probably update your address so I can keep sending you these games. It'd been like 3 or 4 years or something since I did one of those videos last. And the fact that he was avidly still trying to send me the games, I was like, man, that's awesome. You don't have to, but here's my address. And he just kept sending them to me. So at this point, he's released over 100, and I'm pretty sure I have them all. I think what I was trying to do with limited run games in collecting them all, I think I actually have done with Super Rare, just because Super Rare is so super awesome and just kept sending me the games. All right, that being said, let's go through Super Rare. So Super Rare definitely went even indier than limited run did. Definitely picking up some of these indie games. And some of them I don't really even know what the games are, but very often Super Rare knocked it out the park and did a physical for a game that I am so thankful that they did. So also I want to add that Super Rare package their games like this really well, actually, with this quality slip and then a Super Rare sticker pinning it down with another big sticker that you can have and own inside. And also they'll do like a little card or like some extra thing on the inside. So because all of that is contained behind this packaging, I don't like opening the packaging and breaking the seal because I don't want to lose anything. Unfortunately, they're kind of a mess on the shelf of like plastic. But, you know, I wouldn't have it any other way. The first one here is N++, which is actually number 8. The first one they did was Human Full Flat, a very knockout the park start. I mean, we just got the Direct and we found out Human Full Flat 2 is coming to Switch 2. This was an early indie gem for the console. I had a lot of fun playing this. And again, just at the time where we weren't getting a lot of games. The Flame and the Flood. I don't know if you remember this one, but it was another early indie game on Switch that did really well. Shelter Generations, that one I don't know what that is. Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. I do remember hearing about that one, but I didn't play it. Mutant Muds. This one I did play. You know Worms. MWD. Everyone knows Worms. Snake Pass. This one I remember George was so excited about. Rightfully so. Snake Pass was a very weird game in the way that it looks like a Banjo-Kazooie style game with really cool graphics and like old school art style. But it was quite pretty. And it, again, was an early Switch game where people didn't really know what Switch games were going to look like. And then all of a sudden we have this like really high resolution, like Banjo-Kazooie type Snake Pass game with a fun, quirky gimmick where you're a snake and you got to like coil around things to platform. It was like a perfect like N64 throwback type game. So to release on the Switch in that era, it made a big splash. And for George to get the physical, I remember he was very excited about that. Steren Den, Adventure Pals. This one also is actually really fun and reminds me of that. Why today? My brain. Adventure Time. Knights and Knights 2. I also remember people liking that, but I haven't played it. Cube 2. Fair Rune Collection. There was something about this one as well I remember people were really excited for. Again, George did a great job at picking some of these early Nintendo Switch eShop games that people really liked. And this was another one that I remember people were really talking about it. Like YouTubers were making videos about it. Like I don't remember what the deal was with it, but Lone Wolf, no idea. Earthlock. I hate to sound like a broken record, but I remember there was some reason people were excited for this, and I reviewed that one at the time, and he got the physical for it, which was cool. Book of Demons. Never heard of that one, though. Merry Christmas from All at Super Rare Games. I don't know if this is actually a game. Oh, it's all signed. We wanted to give this small thank you the best way we know how with a physical keepsake. Thanks so much to all of our partners and friends that have supported us, worked alongside us, or even critiqued us. You're what make what we are, and we love you for it. Oh, man. I actually don't remember this. Well, there you go. I found something in my collection I didn't know I had. Archvale. Oh, Bloodroots is a great one. It's a top-down hack and slash, I guess you could say. You just tear things up. Superliminal is also another awesome one. I really enjoyed playing this on the eShop. It's all about perspectives. It's a puzzle game where you need to change your perspective to solve puzzles. We have Sally Face. I'm just showing. It's just a pickups video now. Horace. Flynn, Son of Crimson. This one was fun. Look up gameplay. I don't remember it. 2 Superliminals. All right. I don't know why I got 2 of those. Darkwood. Dandara. That's a great one. That was one of my indie eShop videos. What was the gimmick here? You could flip gravity to the ceiling, I'm pretty sure. Freedom Finger. I kind of remember that game, but we're going back in time now. The Dark Side Detective. Chroma Squad. Yeah, when I started my channel, this was what it was. Me going, I got Evoland at GameStop, and I went and got, SteamWorld. Oh, they got SteamWorld Quest? Super Rare got SteamWorld Quest? That's a big one. That's a great game. Oh, and Gardens Between, which I also have the big special edition for. Oh, and they got World of Goo. See, Super Rare. Assault cactus. Super Rare really was knocking it out the park with a lot of the IPs and games that they would manage to grab. Like Brother Tales of Two Sons, Mech Extermination Force, The Sexy Brutale. This is another great game, or so I heard. Lonely Mountain Downhill, Creeks. That's got a cool art style. Little Inferno, Smoke and Sacrifice, Otajuron, Graceful Explosion Machine. I actually have Project Warlord. I have some things to say about some of these, but not enough to make me want to slow down at this point. Ghost of a Tale, Rive Ultimate Edition, and Toki Toki. Tricky Towers is sick. This is a really fun puzzle game to play with friends where you stack Tetris-style blocks on towers. Monster Prom. My arm is getting sore. Yes, Your Grace. Ita, whatever that is. Wolverblade, whatever that is. Oh, they also did SteamWorld Heist and SteamWorld Dig, a fusion of dirt. Wow, they must have got a deal with all the SteamWorld games. That's really cool. Oh, and they did Little Gator Game. I loved that one. It was inspired by Zelda. It's very Zelda coded if you haven't played that. I liked that one a lot. Rogue Heroes. Franbo Hack, Ship of Fools. A lot of these I just haven't even heard of. Again, they just sent them to me. Whatever that says. I'm not even gonna try. My arm is killing me. Nico, Here Comes Nico, and Old School Musical. By the way, if you're wondering why these aren't alphabetized, it's because I do stuff like this all the time. I like make videos where I mess them all up. Okay, now, you might have thought we were done with Super Rare, but I've known for a while that I've wanted to make this video, and they still send me the games. Got to put this mic down for a second. I'm going to put it here so I can still kind of talk. So I stopped opening them when he sent them so that we could do a little fun unboxing in this video. I'm going to try and balance. Ooh, it's going to sound horrible. I shouldn't talk. Hold on. Oh my God, that actually kind of works. Can you see that over there? I'm balancing the microphone. Why didn't I just do this the whole time? Why have I been holding them up? Why didn't I just pin a micro? Well, you know, I'm this far in. Why change what's working? God, I gotta wash my hair before part 3. I promise you, before tomorrow, I will wash my hair. All right, I got my, oh no, it's my PO box, so I don't have to worry about showing my address. Okay, let's go. Let's rip it and ship it. I got a bunch more Super Rare unboxing fresh for the video. I've never had to shoot a video in 3 parts. Oh, right. So they've also been sending me PlayStation 5 games recently. All right, this video isn't about that. So After Dream. This one looks really interesting, actually. It looks like a point and click. Looks right up my alley. So I know I said earlier that I never get sent things. You know, I have no connections. And then I immediately turned around and said, Super Rare sends me everything. It's definitely the exception when it comes to physical games. Like, Super Rare is incredible with that. I'm really glad I'm getting to talk about them now, actually. Because he does not have to keep doing this. If you love buying games physical and you didn't know about Super Rare, maybe go on their website now and check out what they got. Oh, another Steam game, SteamWorld game. This one is SteamWorld Build. Yo, sick. So now I have, like, all of the SteamWorld games physical, essentially. I actually think that there's more at the PO box because I haven't checked the PO box in a couple of days. And I guarantee you if I went right now, there would be more. There you go, Little Guardian. Isn't it cute? Smooshy Come Home? Oh, no way. This one's sick, actually. Whoa, Wild Frost. I can't see the game, but I've played it and I liked it a lot. It's another puzzle type game, just like Grindstone. And I always thought that they were related in some way because they just both look so similar, but they're not. They're not related in any way. They're just two fun puzzle games with similar art styles. Streets of Rogue, Postal Brain Damage, and he sent both the Switch version and the PlayStation version. This dude is over the top. I'm telling you guys, it's been like 4 or 5 years since I made those videos. And he still sends the PlayStation 5 and Switch version. What a guy, man. Duck Detective. Whoa, this one looks like Goose Game with a story. That looks very cute. Grime Definitive Edition. I'm sorry if it feels like I'm not saying much anymore or that I'm trying to rush through. We're at the end of what I thought would be the video today, but day 2 apparently. And I'm just quite exhausted and ready to go to bed. Ready to take a shower, actually. Cassette Beasts? I do wonder about the intrinsic value of some of these. I do wonder when I have like every super rare game sealed and a ton of limited run games. I just, in the back of my head, and I'm not gonna figure it out. And you've seen them all, so maybe you can tell me. But I always wonder, what is the most expensive one that I have? Gibbon Beyond the Trees. Oh, this one looks awesome. The whole case is holographic and like reflective. It is Cavern of Dreams. No idea what it is, but the whole thing, even the spine. Okay, so this wide one had all PlayStation 5 games. It had OXTO, Grime, and then the one that I was like, no way, that's awesome. They have Sable. Now this is on Switch, but this is a PlayStation 5 version of it. I started playing this on Switch recently because it's kind of like Breath of the Wild. Really, really interesting game. Open world. It's kind of like the Star Overdrive game that I just reviewed, except you're in like a Star Wars Luke Skywalker style speeder exploring the world. All right, cool, sick. Thank you so much, George. I appreciate that. So then those get added into the collection and I'll tidy up before tomorrow. This Switch 2 bag is now selling on eBay for like $300, the one I got at the New York experience. Just wanted to show that too. I thought that was crazy. That's everything for day 2. Tomorrow we'll come back and do more for day 3. But for you, it'll be no time at all. And for me, I'll have showered and I'll have more energy. All right. Hi again. I have washed my hair and I tried a new oil to see if I could kind of make it look a little bit more alive. And the oil has made it look greasy. So I do have freshly cleaned hair. And it looks oily, unfortunately. All right, we're back and I'm gonna try and finish this today. I don't want this to go over into another part because that's insane. This video is gonna be 6 hours. I really have no concept for how much that camera has been used in this video. And also I worry that it's not a flattering angle of me sitting down. So we have ocean lens and we have unflattering angle. And I'm also been developing a pimple over the 3 days we've been doing this. So, all right, anyway, I fixed the little game section here that I messed up. And then I was looking here and I think I actually missed these games, these super rare games yesterday. So there was Nightmare Reaper we missed, The Dark Side Detective, which is a pretty big one. Flights in Tight Spaces, which I haven't heard of. Tinykin, which this is a cool one. One of my favorite indie eShop gems. It's a lot like Pikmin, but with a really cool art style. The Tartarus Key and Post Void. This one has really cool art, actually. No idea what it is, though. Par for the course here, I feel like. Monster Camp and Monster Road Trip. Dorf. Crowns and Porn. I have nothing to say about those. Wargroove 1 and 2. I feel like somewhere in here we did have Wargroove 1. So then we have officially finished that section of my collection. Also, fun fact, this is day 3 of recording this video, and the Switch 2 pre-orders go live here in about 6 hours. So this is how I'm filling time before I try and get my pre-order in at midnight. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to drive to GameStop for opening and see if I can pre-order one in person too. I just really want to hit all bases for obvious reasons. And to be honest, I really, the GameStop one is the one that I want, because I want to be able to walk in at midnight and pick it up, but I don't want to wait till tomorrow and then not get it, you know? We're going to travel back to this section here, and then we're going to move down to this section, and then that's all of the loose games, and then hopefully we can just blast through the collector stuff that I have around and call it a day. And if you're still watching the video and you're enjoying it, let me know down below, and I appreciate you watching this far. So we have a couple of loose ones here, starting with a game that should be in the Australian section, Mortal Shell. I was playing this one, and that's why it ended up here, I think. This was very Dark Soulsian in approach, and again, it was another game that promised a lot visually, so I wanted to check it out. And I think I remember being somewhat impressed, but it was still a Switch game. Payday 2. Oh man, there's a story behind this one. I don't know if you guys remember, but at one of the very first Nintendo Directs, it was announced that Payday 2 was coming to the console, and it was actually a big deal for a lot of reasons. I mean, it was just a cool third-party game, a cool port, but they were also promising a lot of Nintendo Switch specific support, I think with like Joy-Con, motion control, gyro, but also there was a new character which was themed. It was called Joy. Yeah, she was called Joy. She's on the back here, and her mask was red and blue like the Joy-Cons, and it just took forever to release. They kept pushing it back because I think they were realizing how hard it was to try and make this port work. And then it eventually released, and it was not good. It was a very bad port, and it didn't get supported for long either. They dropped it really quickly. A lot of people were upset about that because they essentially released it and then moved on immediately. We have a sealed Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is one that I have a code for, which is why I've never busted open this little complete edition pack. Yeah, I mean, it's Witcher 3. What do you want me to say? I never did a Switch playthrough because I really felt like visually it did not hold up. I mean, this is a gorgeous game, and on Switch, you were missing that whole element to it. And it's not that graphics make a game, but when a game is as beautiful as Witcher, you are missing that experience by playing it on the Switch, which is just unfortunate, you know. I really hope, as I said, this is one of the games that gets some love on the Switch too. Those were some loose ones sat on top here, but let's actually go through. Dead Cells Signature Edition. So Signature Edition games, I believe they're a company much like Super Rare and Limited Run, where they do a signature edition of a game. I think it's always a special release. It doesn't necessarily have to be a game that doesn't have a physical, I believe, because Dead Cells has a physical. But Signature Edition, they wanted to make a signature edition of Dead Cells, and I think that's how the company works. So I grabbed that one because obviously I'm a big fan of Dead Cells. Then we have a pretty cool unpacking game. So Unpacking is a really fun, cozy game that Kim really likes. Oh, this is Limited Run. That makes sense. And you know, now that I'm seeing this, I'm surprised that more companies didn't do slip covers like this, because you can customize the spine that way. You have the traditional spine on the inside, but you kind of get away with a more flashier case on the shelf. That's definitely something I would have looked into if I was a publisher. Then we have the Mario and Rabbids Steel Tin. I don't know what this is about or why I have it. Then I got this for an Etsy video, I think, with Kim, but the Blockbuster, it was like a mock-up of what a Switch game would look like at Blockbuster, which is really cool. Fate Extella Link. This also could be in... No, wait, I bought this in Australia, but it's not Australian. I got this at Southern Games in Adelaide, which is a game store, the only game store in Adelaide, really, my hometown, and a game store that was right by my old house, and I used to visit there all the time. It was popular via my channel. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. It was popular for the town, but if you've heard about it through me, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say I filmed there a lot, and it became synonymous with me and my channel. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the word I'm looking for. And the owner is a lovely guy. And when I went back there for my last Australia vlog, I bought that. Ironically, a NTSC American release that I found there at his store. Slay the Spire. This is a indie game that got a physical release normally just through, like, you know, I bought it at GameStop. But when it came out physically, I picked it up as soon as I could just to own it because I had played it so much already on the eShop. It's one of the best roguelike card games you'll ever play. Dave the Diver, same story with that actually. As soon as this got a physical, I bought it because I wanted to own it. It's actually kind of a lot like Moonlighter in the way where you have, rather than dungeon crawling, there's cave diving, and rather than running a shop, you run a sushi bar, and everything that you know, all the fish that you hunt in the ocean, you sell in the sushi bar. Really great game. Monster Hunter Stories 1 and 2 pack. I think I just bought this to have this because, well, no, I bought it because Monster Hunter Stories was re-releasing on Switch, and they just put it in this double pack. That's why I bought it. Apparently, I have 2 copies of Lost Sphere as well, and another one is down here for that. Deadly Premonition. I bought this because my friend Sean, I think, was really excited for it, and I thought I would give it a go. I believe it's a graphic novel-like type game. It's still sealed. I don't know what to tell you. Battle Chasers Night War, so I have 2 of those. Little Dragon Cafe. Kim and I loved this one. It was an early Switch game, I believe in the first year or two. You run a little cafe and you explore the local area. It's kind of like an open world. It's not too expansive. And you explore the open world to like pick things up that you'll then use to run the cafe during the day or whatever. And somewhere along the line, you find a little dragon. And then it's this little kid that you play as and his little pet dragon growing together and running a cafe. It's very cute, created by Yoshiro Wada, the imagination behind the original Harvest Moon game. I remember the performance was pretty bad, but that didn't stop me from really enjoying it. And I even later went and picked up this collector's edition of it when I saw it at GameStop, and it has a little dragon inside it. Because that's legitimately how much fun Kim and I had playing the game. I mean, I played it and Kim watched me, but yeah, we really did quite like that one. It was a little gem that no one talks about. Moving along, we have Cat Quest. The first one flew under the radar, I think, for a lot of people. It's because it looks like a crappy mobile game, I gotta be honest. But it's actually a pretty good RPG featuring cats and a lot of cat puns. And then they went on to make 2 more games. There's 3 of them now. And they just got better and better as they went along. And I do promise you that my hair is clean and freshly oiled. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 Untitled Goose Game sealed because it started as a digital only, but this one was a blast. I feel like I've said this a lot. Took the internet by storm when it released. Just a goofy little game where you play as a goose. So simple, and it started as a Switch exclusive, which was really cool because it brought a lot of attention to the eShop. It brought a lot of attention to just cute little indie games with a simple premise. And yeah, you just play as a goose. Kim loved it. I loved it. And of course, I picked it up physical as soon as I could. Little Town Hero is not the same story. However, I did buy it just to own it, really, because it's a Game Freak game, and I felt like it had a place in the collection. Buddy, we can't do this again. It's actually kind of interesting seeing a Game Freak game with Game Freak on the spine rather than Nintendo, because obviously when they do Pokemon games, then there's the Nintendo badge on the side, but for Game Freak, they get the Game Freak badge. Yeah, the game just isn't good. It's actually, unfortunately, a shining example of the fact that Game Freak aren't the best game developers and don't really know what makes a fun game. And I don't want to get too mean, but they unfortunately did do an amazing job with the first Pokemon Red and Blue, and everyone loved it. And the writing is pretty clearly on the wall that they rode that train and they re-released that game again and again and again with different skins and different Pokemon, but the format was ultimately the same because they just didn't know how to change it and they didn't really want to change it. And it's only now that they're finally trying new things, but the core game is essentially the same. And again, I think it's because they just, you know, and take an example of when they tried to do something new, they're just not the best development team. They're just not the best. But they make Pokemon, and Pokemon is good, right? Enter the Gungeon physical. Man, it's funny that this section is so much like, I bought this because I liked it digital and then I wanted to own it physical. But Enter the Gungeon was one of the early eShop games that I really enjoyed. One of the early, really big ones, I would say. There was probably like a top 5 or a top 10 early couple of first year window eShop games that blew up, did really well. And Enter the Gungeon was one of those. Flipping Death. Kim bought me this. I remember Kim just, I don't know why. I think it was like a random buy. And I did actually play through it. It was, it's point and clicky and puzzle adventure-y. And it's definitely right up my alley, and I did enjoy it. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This is sealed, and I don't know why I bought it other than just to own the Mario and Sonic game. I've never liked any of those Olympic game Marios. Minute. This one is Special Reserve and Devolver, and I believe they sent this to me. Oceanhorn. So Oceanhorn 1 and 2 are Zelda clone games that are actually pretty fun. The first Oceanhorn is very Wind Waker inspired, and the second one is very Breath of the Wild inspired. And they're both actually pretty decent. So when that got a physical, I wanted to jump on it. Man-Eater, a game where you play as a man-eating shark. I have another SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. I don't know what's happening here. I have a lot more doubles than I realized. Saints Row the Third, they gave me a code for this, and I played through on Switch with a code. However, Saints Row games are some of my favorites. 1 through 4, I really love them all for different reasons, and I do feel like the 4th game went off the rails, but I played these games with my friends from high school, back on Xbox 360 and PlayStation, and the evolution of the series was fantastic. For the first and second one being kind of just straight GTA style games, but then the third one being this over-the-top action game with so much humor and personality, it really hit its peak, but then I think it like jumped the shark with 4 and went overboard, but I love them all. Darkest Dungeon, a lot of people's favorite indie Kickstarter kind of games. It has a sequel now. I never got super stuck into it, but I did like what I played. The Coma, that I haven't played, and I actually don't know why I have it. Spyro, that I have because Kim wanted it, and she played through all of it, and I dabbled a little. Lumo, Kim also wanted this one, so there's 2 Kim ones back to back. She saw this at a GameStop and thought it looked cute, and she did play through that. I don't remember what she said about it, though. Genso Wanderer, no idea why I have that. This is a really weird section, actually. Monster Hunter Rise, it is sealed, but don't let it fool you. I bought that digitally and I played it a lot. I loved that game. I really juiced the main campaign. Then when Sunbreak came out, I never really committed to juicing it the same way I did the base game. I honestly kind of regretted not playing more of the Sunbreak DLC, but the base game itself, I absolutely adored. It's definitely my favorite Monster Hunter game and one of the best Switch games. And there's Shin Megami Tensei 5, also sealed in a tin case, which means I have that digitally as well. BB and Tina, I guarantee you that is at the horse farm. You know why I bought that. I never did anything with it, but you know why I bought that. A Hat in Time. I remember getting a code on Steam for the beta of A Hat in Time, like years before the game like officially released. And it was really touted as like a new 3D platformer in the vein of like Banjo-Kazooie and Mario 64. And for some reason, it just never really hit with me. It never really hit that same nostalgic feeling, or I didn't really feel like it did anything too extra. You know, I just didn't really click, I guess. But I bought the physical to support it regardless because I appreciated the sentiment. Jemmy Knows. This was part of that weird video I did with Kim with all those Ippon Marathon games. Ukulele. Speaking of Banjo-Kazooie inspired games. Also, apparently I have 2 Goose games. I also have Bubsy Paws of Fire. $40? This might have come from, I think this came from GameStop when I bought all those GameStop games. I'm not 100% sure though. The Princess Guide. I have a memory of playing this, but it's sealed and maybe I'm wrong. Mega Man 11. I'm just going to blast through some of these. I feel like I already showed that one. Reroll Royal Reverie. Is there 3 Katamaris on Switch? I thought there was only 2. Trine 4. Here's Trine 4. Also including Trines 1 through 3, but this is the one that Kim and I played. Aragami Shadow Edition. Who knows? Here's the original My Hero One's Justice that I took a risk or a gamble on and gave it a shot and I really liked the fighter. Sparklight. This is an indie game. I think it's roguelike as well. I remember playing this, but I barely remember it. I do feel like I played it a decent amount, but man, I barely remember it. Whatever this is. Moiro Crystal. Then we have Darksiders 2. I was always impressed that they put the Darksiders game on Switch. I'm not sure why, because I guess it's not that graphically intensive, but the idea of playing through them on Switch always seemed cool to me, because if you don't know, these games are actually Zelda inspired. They're very, if you play them, they have dungeons and puzzles just like Zelda, and the core gameplay is very like Zelda inspired. I don't know what else to say, but they do their own thing with it. And yeah, I just thought it'd be cool to play that on Switch, but then I never really did. I played them elsewhere before that. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I picked this up for Kim because she liked the Spyro one, and then neither of us ended up playing that. Flashback 25th Anniversary. This was like a first year window, 2018. It came with a Super Nintendo. I'm now really realizing this was all the rage on that first year of Nintendo, re-releasing Super Nintendo games for full price. It's kind of funny, but each one weirdly made a bigger noise and splash splash in the scene than they arguably should have, just because it was the first year of Switch. Then we have Mercenary Saga, Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is empty because the games are loose out on the shelf. Sonic Mania Plus, loved Sonic Mania, and we'll get there, but I have the big collector's edition for that too. Puyo Puyo Tetris, Black Sad. This is a detective style point and click sort of adventure game, and Kim bought this for me. Shining Resonance Refrain. This is in a still case and it's sealed, never played it. Sunshine Alpha, I think I played that, but I'm not sure. And then the two Labo, they just sat out. The Labo boxes are around and I just never put them back in their boxes. Also, I don't know, should we talk about Labo? I guess we're not actually there yet, but Labo was fine. Actually, the Labo boxes I moved from the collection because they were so big and taking up space. I put them in storage. Oh wait, there's one down there. I don't know if you can see that. It's right there on the ground under the shelf, very blurry. The Labos were good, I thought, when they came out. They were very creative and they were very Nintendo. It was like if Nintendo was gonna do Lego, then yeah, Labo. I mean, it made sense, I guess. And I like the idea. And I know it's just cardboard, but they were so brilliantly designed and crafted and created. And the fact that, think about the actual idea though, because everyone says it's just cardboard. I think that's the idea though. It's just cardboard. And then with the magic of Nintendo, you can build it into something and then use it as a controller or a piano or interact with the Switch with it. So yeah, it's just cardboard, and look what Nintendo have done with it. Like, that was kind of the idea, you know? Like, how do we take the most basic, boring thing, cardboard, and turn it into a fun game, into a giant robot, or do VR with cardboard, you know? Like, the idea is actually kind of sick. The idea is crazy. Unfortunately, where they went wrong is they put too much faith that people would understand that idea and then charged way too much for it. End of the day, if the idea is it's just cardboard, look what we can do with it, you also kind of have to price it like it's just cardboard, you know? And they kind of didn't. Like, it was more expensive than just buying a full video game. And again, I think the value was there as far as what it can do, and the fact that it's essentially a big puzzle, and the time it must have like went into engineering all of it. Like, the development there, everything is there that I think justified the price, but intrinsically in itself, what it is doesn't ultimately justify the price for consumers. And I think that's mostly where they went wrong. If Labo was half the price, I don't think anyone would have really had an issue with it, but it was just expensive cardboard, but it was cool. And then I lost half of mine in a flood, and I never really look. I don't know. There is one section of games left, and apparently I just skipped it. I don't know why I went down here first, but we have here. So let me move these out the way. I have Joy-Cons. I have another Switch Lite. This really cool Hori split pad that I bought in Japan that has the evolutions all over it that I don't think you can get here. And then this is a weird accessory that you don't really see, or I don't know if anyone's even heard of it. It's an official Nintendo accessory though, and it's a Joy-Con battery pack. So you can stick it to the back of your Joy-Cons, put batteries in it, and then it will make your Joy-Cons last even longer. Kind of goofy, really, because like the Joy-Cons last long enough as it is, but it does kind of give you like grips at the same time. So kind of a smart idea, but I never saw it marketed. Like, when I found out it existed, even I was shocked. This Dragon Quest 11S came from Japan, and I picked it up with my Dragon Quest Switch, and that was the whole arc of my vlogs. The first time I went to Japan was trying to find those two things, and I found them. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, absolutely love that game, adore that game. One of the best, if not the best, Metroidvania. I mean, it's right up there with Hollow Knight. Mega Man Battle Network, Dungeon Munchies, Gang Beasts. I don't have anything to say about these. Oddworld Soulstorm, the Sisters Party. I've never even seen that before. Party of the Year. This is the first game in my collection that even I don't think I've seen before. I don't know why it's in my collection, how it got here, or what it is. I have nothing for that one. Rune Factory 5. You think I would have played it, but I haven't. It'll Do 2. Speaking of Zelda clones, absolutely loved It'll Do 2. And this, I remember at one point, got removed from the eShop. And I can't remember the reason, but there was a while where you couldn't re-download this. And I believe it's back up now. But I was like, well, I have it physical, so that's why you buy a physical. It's another Nicalis game. So she's part of the whole collaboration of Nicalis indies as well. But yeah, if you haven't played this, it's a really cool, it is the Super Nintendo style Zelda clone. For the King, I really love this game, and I believe I played it on Steam with a friend, and then I wanted to pick it up on Switch and play it again, and I never actually played it, but I did buy it. It's a tabletop adventure roguelike style game where you will pick a character and you take turns going around a world. Very Dungeons and Dragon-y in a way. Final Fantasy 12, I believe. Tubaruk, Call of Cthulhu. I remember doing a sponsor video for this game, actually. Saber Interactive helped publish this Switch version. Saber did a lot of Switch ports. I think they even did The Witcher 3. Saber reached out to me a lot for a lot of their ports and wanted me to cover them. Often I said yes, sometimes I said no, just depended on what I felt like. And Call of Cthulhu looked interesting to me, so I think I did a video for them for that. I bought Bee Simulator for Kim because it looks so goofy, and she still hasn't played it. I don't know what it is. Fun Animal Park. Honestly, you could put that as the second game. I don't know why I have that or what it is. I've never seen it before. 13, the remake remaster. I really wanted that to be good. I bought it and never played it and only heard terrible things. Stubbs the Zombie. There's some story in this game about how it was made by Halo people or something, or it's made with the Halo engine, I think. I've always wanted to play it, and I still have not got around to it. AEW Fight Forever. Oh my gosh, look at it. I made a whole video for this game out of the love of my heart for AEW, the company. Kim and I are really big fans, and we're weirdly connected with the company. Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford are two of our closest friends in our life. We hang out a lot, and they have been very involved in Kim's pregnancy and helping support us with that. They are absolute gems of human beings. We love them so much. But also, there's a guy that works there called Charlie, who I love so much, and he's how I kind of got involved with AEW in the first place. I've talked with Adam Cole a bunch, and he's such a sweetheart. So yeah, and I love wrestling. Kim and I, we both love wrestling. We both grew up with it, and I grew up with it personally. So having these connections to AEW and going and watching the shows and being able to be a part of it as the company grows has been really cool. And I wanted to help support their game because I felt like they'd put a lot of love and work into it. I thought it was really fun. It did get really old really quickly, and I feel like it didn't really get the support that it needed or have the budget that it needed. But if they ever make another game, hopefully it'll be a little bit better. New Joe and Mac, whatever. There's a lot of whatevers in here. Labyrinth. This is clearly a section I don't visit much. Life is Strange True Colors. I love the first Life is Strange, but I haven't loved any of the other ones. I have two Subnautica plus, why? Peppa Pig. This came from GameStop. I, to this day, quote my friend Bingle saying, "That nasty pig," every time I see Peppa Pig. Yeah, if you watch that GameStop video, there was a weird arc just with Peppa Pig and parents not wanting their kids to watch Peppa Pig. And then I knew for sure that that was the one game from the video that I was definitely going to try and keep. America's Greatest Games, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. So this little section here has a lot of GameStop games, and that was another one that came from that video. It Takes Two. This I just wanted to own and support because I thought that game was so much fun and really enjoyed it on Switch. Monster Menu, Taco No Rhythm Heaven, Rhythm Festival. I think that was from GameStop. South Park Fractured But Whole. I keep meaning to play through that, and I just haven't been. Assassin's Creed, the Rebel Collection. I don't know why I don't put games together. I have so many random Assassins. This is the one I was saying I really liked. Well, actually, Black Flag and Rogue. I'm actually surprised in myself that I didn't at least play this one on Switch. These are perfect Switch games. I honestly almost want to leave this out as well. Now that I'm looking at it, playing Black Flag on my Switch, why didn't I do that? Walking Dead, the final season. Oh, there is a weird story behind this. I guess I can just go get it. I'm trying not to extend this video too much, but I am. Intrinsically, I am. I'm gonna keep talking. So I'm just not going to be on camera for 2 seconds. So the Walking Dead Telltale games, I've already told you, they're some of my favorite games of all time. I would put the first game up there in my top 10, but I would probably need to actually sit down and do a top 10. But right now, let's just say top 10. And so when the Walking Dead games were coming to an end, they did this final season collector's edition, right? Here's the statue for it, and then I'm going to put it back. It's actually really, really quality, heavy, and I don't know what material they used, but well, you might think that's funny because I was saying that it's really good quality and then the arm fell off. But if you've played the games, it's even funnier than you realize. So anyway, when they were doing this final season game with all of the things, they did a big collector's edition. And this was a weird one to follow. So I pre-ordered it. It was very expensive and they promised that statue, a ton of collectibles. There was a Broccoli Rob thing in there, some other little figurines and keychains and art books, and obviously this game. And then they had a really hard time manufacturing it. And it was like over a year or more past when it was supposed to be delivered that it just didn't show up. And they kept emailing with like, really sorry, we can't find a factory that will make the stuff we promised. And then they made the statue, or they had the statue, and they didn't like the quality. They were like, the quality this factory made is really poor. We don't feel confident after all this time shipping it out, so we're gonna scratch it and start again. Like, it was a journey. But I will say, when it finally showed up, and I thought it was never gonna show up, when it finally showed up, every piece of the collector's edition was sick. I don't know where the big box is now that it all came in, but everything was really high quality and I was really impressed with all of it. So they took a long time, but they did it justice. Then we have another Trine 4. I don't know what my problem is. That one doesn't have all the other games in it. Killer Queen Black. This is an indie game that had a lot of success and was rated very highly, and I've reviewed it before. Dragon Marked for Death. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I really don't know. We have Knights of Azura 2. We have Resident Evil Origins. We have Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I love Baldur's Gate 3. It was the first Baldur's Gate I played. And then I bought this because I was like, maybe the first two would be good. And you know, I just looked up gameplay and I was like, oh, these games are quite old, huh? And I never commit. I don't think they would hit the same. You can let me know down below if I'm wrong, but I don't think they would hit the same. Final Fantasy X and X-2. Horse Club Adventures, another horse game that I never actually ended up playing. Fortnite Deep Freeze. You know, despite the fact that every holiday buying guide video I make, I tell you guys not to buy these because it's just a download code and the game is free, so why would you buy it? I actually did always buy them because I thought they were just one of those goofy things that would be hard to find one day. This is sealed, and sure enough, not this one, but I have seen some of these Fortnite Switch bundles going for like hundreds of dollars because what they do is like this one has like this deep freeze set, right? And the only way to get this outfit and these deep freeze cosmetics is by buying this. So a lot of people just want the code because there are people out there that actually collect all of these skins, as crazy as it is. And I believe if you look up the Batman Joker Fortnite Nintendo Switch one, which I don't have, I don't think, that one is very expensive, like the most expensive one for that reason, because people want the skin. Here's Friday the 13th, that game I was talking about earlier. And even though this one says it includes the full game and emote pack and costume packs, this is an unplayable game at this point. The servers are shut down and it is broken. You could probably do a local party, but who's doing that? Trials of Mana, Sphinx. That's like an old GameCube game, I think, or PlayStation 2. Nothing to say. Slain, nothing to say. I gotta be honest. Sonic Superstars, Resident Evil Revelations Collection. This one notoriously does need a download. People are getting upset about the game key cards for Switch 2, but this did it first. This is just a download. Yeah, I believe the first game is on the cart, and then the second game is a download code. Why do they do that? I don't know, man. It sucks so much. Forager, that is a fun indie game. Garfield Kart, I don't know what you want me to say about that one. Both Garfield Kart and this weird did Dinosaurs Gigantosaurus the game were 2 games. Actually, this whole section here, this next one, 2 Slide Stars. These were GameStop games that I bought and then Kim and I played and reviewed in a video. And I remember, weirdly, we kind of like Slide Stars. I remember we played it after the video for a little bit. Don't ask, I don't know. Dungeon of the Endless, My Little Riding Champion. This, I think, was the first horse game. I think was the first horse game that started it all. Nexomon, I got that because it's like a Pokemon clone and then I never played it. Layton's Mystery Dungeon Journey, that is sealed because I had high hopes of playing it and then never did. Instant Sport Tennis. This whole section is definitely Race with Ryan. That was also in that video with Kim. This whole section is definitely like a throwaway section. Things I never really touch or played. Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission. I think that's the card game based one. I did try playing that, but I didn't like it. Code of Princess EX. This I did play. It's another Nicalis game. This princess girl is in a lot of those crossover games too. This is a beat 'em up, I believe, with over 50 heroes, and this is actually sick. This game even has a reversible cover and goodies inside, like a disc with something on it and an actual manual like the old days. I made a video on this game because I made a video of Switch games that actually come with something. And when I made that video, that was a manageable video to make because there was only so many games on Switch and I was buying a lot of them and I was just looking in my cases and finding things in them and I was like, well, let's make a video. It's funny now, where we are now with gaming, is that everyone's really upset about the game key cards and how the actual games aren't even on the cartridges. And yes, I agree with you. But the thing that people were upset about, not as greatly upset, but definitely like what the equivalent here on the Switch's release, is that it was really the first time that we were just getting nothing in the cases. And the cases even have little hooks in here to put in a manual, but it was not standard practice to put a manual or anything inside the case. 99.9% of the time, a Switch game will have absolutely nothing inside it and even like a blank inside cover. So people were upset about that at the time, that manuals have gone away, that, you know, like a free bit of paper in the case was gone, essentially. Just trying to save money on anything, I guess, at that point. So, yep, I made a video about that. Now I kind of want to check all the cases. But Raven, we are not going back through and doing that. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, I bought that for Kim. WWE 2K Battlegrounds, I bought that purely to see if it was bad, to make another WWE game video, because my first one did well. But this one's like a weird art style. It ran better because it wasn't actually trying to do too much. It just wasn't very fun. Monster Boy, I'm trying to remember the story, but that one we looked at that was a remake of a Master Drive game. This is a sequel to that, I think, was the story. I can't quite remember, actually, what the story was there, but they're related in some way. Alteria Lulia, another Alteria game. You see, I really kept buying those thinking I was going to do something with it. Same with Tales of Vesperia. I was funny that those are together. It's a similar thing. The Tales games have always been games I've wanted to play, and I'll buy them sometimes and then just put them on the shelf. Digimon Survive. I famously did not like that game because it lied. And I don't care what you say, it did lie about what kind of game it was. It made itself look like it was a turn-based tactics game, which I love, and I wanted that for Digimon, and then it ended up being 95% a graphic novel. And then Adventure Time Pirates of Ekranong or whatever. This game is really good for a Adventure Time tie-in game, but I remember making a video about it negatively because it was broken on Switch. I was trying to play through it, and I remember I hit some wall or some bug that was preventing me from being able to continue. It was just very glitchy. I'd have to go back and watch the video. It's been so long, I forgot about it. But yeah, I was not impressed by that game's performance, apparently, and made a scathing review about do not buy this Switch game. I wonder how bad it actually was and how much it was just young YouTuber Wood trying to rage bait a little, but I do remember being quite upset trying to play it and it just being very buggy and broken. All right, that is finally all of the loose games. So from here, every section should be a lot quicker. I don't want to take up any more of anybody's time here, so let's figure out where to begin. Let's just stay here and go through these collectors things down here. So we have Sonic Colors Ultimate. Ooh, look at that terrifying, like, guy in there. Keychain or whatever. This was apparently a really buggy and broken release as well for this game. A lot of YouTubers said, do not buy it. I don't know. This was probably cheap, so I picked it up. And I think Kim bought me Nightmare Boy at some point as a gift. I'm not sure what that game is. I'm really bad about playing the games that Kim buys me. Here's Bakugong. This was $5. I remember that was $5, so I bought it. Azria Striker, Crypt of the Necro Dancer. Okay, this one speaks for itself, why I wanted this one. Some of these special editions, I just find them really cheap, and I'm like, yeah, I'll buy a special edition. 2 Point Campus, I bought this because I wanted to play it, actually. I was looking forward to it. I thought I would get into it, and then I never played it. I don't know what this is. Crash Team Racing. I guess I bought this in a big pack, and then I just took the game out, and it was loose. Our World is Ended. Man, this is another one that I bought because I thought that it looked like it would have a really cool story, and then just never got around to it. This, I remember, was really cheap. I don't remember where I got it. Fire Emblem Warriors. I mean, yeah, I wanted Fire Emblem Warriors, and I got the special edition. Here's whatever this is. This section here is all limited run special edition games, and all of these are actually really sick. So let me show you all of them. This ukulele is done in a N64 type box. It's really cool, and that is the Switch special edition for it. Turok 1 and 2. I also like the box art, even though it's just pretty standard. I'm actually not a horror fan. This was number 17 and 18 from Limited Run. And I know Outlast are beloved games, and it just kind of made me want to get the special edition instead of the regular. Remember, that's when I was collecting all of them anyway. So I was like, I may as well get the special edition. Not a big fan of Outlast, though. Another N64 style box, Star Wars Pod Racer. Loved this game as a kid. Absolutely adored this game as a kid. I'm going to sneak this story in here. It's not a super pleasant one, but every time I see Pod Racer, I can't help but think about it. My relationship with my dad is not a great one. He was not a great father, and we didn't have anything in common or really spend any time together, and he also never gave me anything. In fact, in my entire life, and in the 15 or 16 years that I knew the man, he gave me one thing, one present ever. And I remember being at home with mom, and we were on the floor looking at photos or something, or like family albums. I can't remember what we were doing. And he came home from work with a loose copy of Pod Racer, and he flung it at me and walked off. And I remember looking at my mom, and we were both like, what the piss just happened? Like, we were both so confused. I never found out where it came from or why he had it, why he bought it, why he decided to get it for me. I really don't know. Maybe someone at work gave it to him. To this day, I have no idea. But I went straight to my room because it's a Star Wars game and I'd never heard of it. And I loved 64 and I just loved the game. And that's what I think of every time I see Pod Racer. I think of the one time my dad flung that game at me. Iconoclast. This is a really great... I'm running out of like words and ways to say things. It's a really fun game with an awesome art style. Iconoclasts, and I wanted the special edition. Same with Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon. Again, I don't remember the whole story, but Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, and Curse of the Moon, they were both crowdfunded, and I think they were crowdfunded together. Like I don't remember what the story is, but they're related in some way and made by the same guy. Blackbird, this one I don't know what this is or why I have it. It's number 68. So this was well past when I was buying limited run games. I don't remember specifically buying this. Maybe it was given to me. It's right next to Brigadine, which is number 71. And I also have no recollection of wanting or buying that, or I don't even know what it is. So I don't know how those two got in my collection, but I do remember wanting Dreamscaper. I bought this physical. This is number 130. This is a roguelike game that I didn't play too much, but I played it prior to them doing a physical, and I think I put it in a video, and I just remember really liking it and the idea. I remember playing it quite a bit on Switch and feeling like the performance probably wasn't as good as it could be, and I thought to myself, I should stop and pick this up again on like Xbox or something, and then I think that's just as far as I went with it, unfortunately. Okay, and then moving on to the bottom shelf down here, we have a limited run Dust of Elysian Tale. This is number 12 from them, and I just decided to get it physical, but I've never actually heard of it. Here is Monster Sanctuary. This is number 134, and this one I did want. One of those other games that's kind of like a farming sim type, grow your own monster. Monster Sanctuary. Check that game out. Kim bought me this randomly one year. Toki. I think she just found it at GameStop and thought it was interesting. You can make a little arcade cabinet on the inside here. Panzer Dragoon. Why do you think I wanted this one? It's even in an old school like Sega Saturn case. Really cool special edition, number 67. No More Heroes 1 and 2. I think they came together. I don't remember. Maybe not. Maybe I did buy them separately. But they're awesome because if you stack them like this, it like makes his face right. But if you stack them this way, not only does it complete the artwork on the front of both of these games, but they're magnetic, like the new Joy-Cons. So they actually stick together and they hold pretty well. Sam and Max Save the World. I was always a Monkey Island guy, not a Sam and Max guy, but you can't really have one without the other, I feel like. And yeah, I just wanted to get the special edition here. My uncle never had Sam and Max. It was something that I discovered later when I was looking for new point and clicks. Moonlighter Signature Edition. I bought this to own this, obviously. Big fan of Moonlighter. We talked about that. Two more, I believe, limited run games. This was just from the start of them releasing these. These are probably in the first 20. Although Slime Sand I did like. I didn't love it, but I'm pretty sure I put that in an eShop video. Kingdom New Lands, I don't know. Okay, and then moving over here, The Liar and the Princess... The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. Axiom Verge, another early Switch release game that did really well. People really liked. I found Lethal League in Japan, and I thought it was interesting not only in its way that it looked, but the fact that it had a keychain just taped to the back of it. Hello Neighbor 2. This has a little cat guy in it, so, you know, had to get it. And then Stardew Valley. I bought this, I guess in Japan, because this was probably before they did an actual physical that came out later as a special edition. Dial Land, I believe this one was sent to me, but I had played it. And it's a farming type game where you get abandoned on a planet and you can walk around the whole planet, kind of like King Kai's planet. I remember really liking the idea, but not really enjoying the game. It felt kind of underbaked. Death of the Mark, Galgun. I love having this one proudly on display, and I've never played it, I promise. Then this giant Battle Chef game. This game's really fun. You are a chef, and it's a roguelike. Check it out. I don't want to talk any more about it, but I will talk a little bit more about Bug Fables, which also has a giant special edition. This game is very much inspired by Paper Mario. It has a very similar art style and vibe, and it's quite literally Paper Mario if everything was like set in a bug world, and I very much, it's like classic traditional Thousand Year Door style Paper Mario. I love it. Arlo really likes it too. It's a great game. And then another giant limited special edition thing, Beyond a Still Sky. This is a sequel to an old school point and click game, and it's very new Tales of Monkey Island style in the way that you play it. I really liked it, actually. I didn't mind it. I thought it told a pretty good story, but it felt very niche, and it's not something that I would probably recommend unless you like those kinds of games. Over here we have like my Zelda stuff. I'm not even gonna pull it all out, but the Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition, the Breath of the Wild Special Edition, and then over here we have Master Edition. This is the big Master Edition Breath of the Wild that has everything. This is the Special Edition, which I think just had, yeah, like a map and a coin and the game and a case. I think the big one had the little Master Sword, which I have over there on a shelf. And then I have Tears of the Kingdom here, by the way, for those wondering where that is. That's just sat there with those and my Ganondorf and Link amiibos. And then I have this really cool treasure box special edition for Age of Calamity, which I either got in Japan or I had imported. I don't remember. Oh, these are cool. These are from the Super Nintendo world when we went. The wristbands, Luigi and Yoshi. That was mine and Kim's. If you don't know, you didn't see the vlog, you need to put those on and scan them around the park to play the little mini games. Sonic Mania I was talking about. And then I have both Mario and Luigi home circuits here, which I never played again. For as much fun as I had the first couple times, and when I made my video, and then when I took the game to an actual go-kart race course, that was the extent of me playing and enjoying those games. And all of those boxes down there were very dusty, and now my hands are very dirty. All right, I do apologize that this back half or this last hour or two of the video, I've been rushing through it so much. I just never expected it to go this long, and it took 3 days, and I have other videos that I want to shoot, and I'm supposed to do my podcast tomorrow, and I've had no time to plan it, so I'm just trying to finish it now. I do feel like, especially for the part today that I'm filming, that I breezed through some of that so quickly, it's gonna seem like I haven't played anything in my collection, or I don't know anything about my games. But it was also unfortunate that just all of this, I really was either like doubles or things that I don't remember buying. I don't know why it all just kind of fell into that section. I'm standing up now, so this camera will be like this. Hi, and then I'll have this one here, and I don't know. I'll show you what I show you. So over here, we have the Xenoblade Definitive Edition. There is a bunch of special editions that do like this long form box, and I really like it, actually. It's really cool. I got this at Best Buy. It's the same as the Katamari reroll thing, where it is the pack with a game and a stuffy, but the freaking game was a code again on the receipt. Then this is another one of those long form boxes. One of my favorite things in the collection, actually. The Astral Chain Collector's Edition. I just love the cover art. How half of it is the guy, then the girl, and it's red and blue. It looks so freaking cool. It's very much like the Bayonetta Special Edition, which did a very similar thing with the red and blue split cover art. This is the Climax Edition, and for a long time, it was actually the only way to get the original Bayonetta, the first one, as a physical, because it was always just a pack-in with the second game. It didn't have a standalone release, but it does have a standalone release here. I also have the Bayonetta 3 Trinity Masquerade Edition, which is just for the third game, but obviously it fits in nicely with the other. I have opened these, and I've explored their contents. As of right now, I don't remember what's in them, but those are open because I wanted to get in there, you know? I wanted to get in there. The Doom and Castlevania collector's editions from Limited Run are absolutely outstanding. They're shadow boxes. This Doom has the 3 Dooms in it, but I just love this shadow box. I don't know if it'll be better showing you on this camera, actually. Yeah, that's better. Love that shadow box. It's so cool. Side note, I recently blasted through the Devil May Cry anime and absolutely loved it. And then I immediately started the Castlevania one. And then this Castlevania shadow box looks awesome. The anime's been really good so far too. Looks sick. Also, it does have a switch on the side that lights it up at the bottom. I actually completely forgot there was a switch on the side of those. Oh, I almost dropped my Guiji. I love this little guy, and I've already dropped him before and broke him and had to rebuy him, and I almost did it again. There's a light in this one, too. Actually, this one's a lot more effective. Let me show you this one. Ready? Ooh, that's sick. Those are definitely the best just special editions that Limited Run has done, because they're just so enjoyable to see them on the shelf and without having to open them, or I don't feel bad about keeping them sealed because they're so great how they are. Then Transistor has a front and center place. I absolutely love this game and the music. This is by Supergiant Games, who made Hades. This was the game before Hades, and there's like a little like gem icon thing there. I'm sure that's from the game, and people are going to be like, you just said you love the game. I can't remember what that gem is. It's been a while since I played it. 2 more really cool special editions because they have a little thing on display. You have the Undertale one and the Hollow Knight one. That's really cool, seeing him in there in like a little brooch. Octopath Traveler Wayfarer Edition. This comes with a book inside that is like a little pop-out book with dioramas of places around the game. This Thimbleweed Park, I'm pretty sure this was the very first special edition they did. I think this is number 1. I could be wrong, but I think this is the first Switch game limited run did. And there's like barely any like branding on it that it's Switch or that it's even limited run. And I think they just hadn't like done that yet. They hadn't like, I don't know why. The first one, it just looks like a PC game, which is kind of sick actually. But sometimes I have to really remember, oh yeah, it's a Switch version. Okay, and then we also have Fury, because I really loved that game. That was one of my top 10 indie game. When I did a video of my top 10 favorite indie games I'd reviewed from my eShop videos, that was in the top 10. It's a boss rush style game where you just beat a boss, a really crazy hard boss battle, and then you go straight on to the next one. It's super fast paced and hack and slashy. Doom Eternal Collector's Edition, again from limited run, that was number 154. Animal Well, love that game by Big Mode and Donkey Fame. This is a recent one that they did special edition for, and I loved the box and I loved the game, so I wanted to buy it. Return to Monkey Island, the latest Monkey Island game. This is obviously for Switch. Its number doesn't say. Had to have this physical because of how much I love Monkey Island. And there was a lot of hate around the new art style they chose, and a lot of discourse was like, you're just not a Monkey Island fan. I will say, I don't love the art style they went with. Guybrush has a certain vibe and swag, and like he's so dorky and doesn't realize he's dorky, but at the same time, people don't give him credit for how kind of cool he is. He would be cool if he wasn't such a dork, you know? And that was represented in his art style originally, because he was kind of like handsome, but like not like too swashbucklingly handsome. And then they just gave him a big old penis nose and made him look so goofy. So yeah, I didn't really love the art style change, but I thought the game was very good and true to Monkey Island form. All right, then obviously we have every Nintendo Switch special edition, but we've talked about that and we're not here for that. We have the World Championship NES edition. Even though I'm not a huge fan of just replaying old NES games in bite-sized pieces competing for the best time, I do love the history of the World Championship NES Nintendo, and this whole re-release and this really cool case or special edition with glowing gold. I just thought it looked awesome. I actually have 2 Smash Brothers special edition things. I have this one, which comes with a controller, and the box is really cool. And then the other one was this one. This big box came with the game and then a GameCube controller and an adapter, and it had the artwork on the front of all of the characters. Whoop! And then I almost dropped it. Oh my god. Also, all of them on the back too. Also, 3 Houses. If you're wondering where that game is, alongside those long boxes I was talking about, they also did a lot of these. They're all like this, these long, these tall ones. This Metroid Dread one is so cool. Obviously, I had to get this. Not even a question. Metroid Dread is awesome. Oh yeah, when I went to I forgot I had this. When I went to Australia, they had another Astral Chain special edition that I hadn't seen before. This collector's edition that comes with music and artwork. Yeah, and it wasn't that expensive, I don't think. Maybe it was. I don't remember. It's in the vlog. It's in the video. I went to GameStop one day, and they were essentially giving this away. The Among Us Ejected Edition. I'm not a huge Among Us fan, and this game's only like $5, so I was never gonna pay the $90 sticker price that this game has. But it has all of this stuff in it, right? Like the plushie and all of this. And it was on clearance for like $5 or $10, I remember. Like this huge thing was like $5. So I was like, yeah, fine, screw it. If you're just giving it away. Here is a giant version. This is one of the tallest special editions I have of the Belt Action Japanese. I actually don't know where that came from. I've just had it for a long time. I do remember there was a store in Texas selling this. $40, some pieces missing. It's supposed to have a statue inside and some other things. And yeah, I believe mine just has the game. But I traded a bunch of stuff into the store, and I think they essentially just kind of threw that in, if I remember, because I kind of wanted it. I was talking about this yesterday, and I just remembered to grab it. Breach and Clear was that #1 limited run game. And the reason why I was thinking about it for Vita, the reason why I just thought about it is that where that Mega Man came from, the game store there, I traded in a bunch of stuff, and I traded them some of my Vita collection because I had a lot and I didn't need it all. And this was in there. And I didn't know what I had. I didn't know this was number one, the first, I think not only the first Vita limited run, but I think this is actually the first game that they ever did. And let me look up the price of it quickly. Yeah, so right now this game is going for about $250, $300 on eBay. And it was just in a bunch of stuff I was trying to trade. And he let me know. He was like, hey, this game's worth $300. Are you sure you want to trade it? And I was like, oh, I'll keep that one then if it's such like a piece of limited run history. I would buy them whenever I found them. And I don't specifically remember buying that one, but it must have been in a group of games on accident. It's so random I ended up with it. All right, the Mario Kart steering wheel is up there. You can't even see me over here. I'm completely off camera when I'm over here. This might also be the tallest one I have. It barely fits on any shelf. Owl Boy limited edition. This is a really good game. It's a really good indie. Just play it. Tetris Effect, and it's in like a S-shaped Tetris block. I cannot get this to close. It's so annoying. And also, it takes up so much room on the shelf. It's so awkward to try and place. When I went to J&L in New York to make that vlog of me buying Switch games in New York City, and I saw an insanely overpriced Damon X Machina Special Edition on the shelf, I, for some reason, loved the box and the way that it looked, even though I didn't really like the game. And the store, J&L is a great store with insane prices, like insanity prices. And I remember looking it up on Amazon while I was there, and it was half the price on Amazon with like 2-day shipping. And almost out of spite of just wanting to buy something there, but not being able to afford their prices, I ordered it on Amazon while I was in the store. And then it showed up 2 days later, and here it is. I don't know why I wanted it so bad, other than it just looked cool. I also got this. I think Kim got this for me too. It was just really cheap when she found it on sale at GameStop. Sorry, I'm off camera over there, but I think there's, you know, I have so many things now for Switch that I've had to start a little section here of Nintendo stuff. I do think that I'm going to probably move a lot of stuff over more and pare down on non-Nintendo things that are over there so that I can start making room on this side for Switch 2. But I don't really have a plan for that yet. I don't know if I finished here, actually. There was 2 more things. There was Celeste, and they did a really cool thing where they put the little collectible berry from the game, but it like dangles a little bit. So it's kind of like it's floating in there waiting for you to grab it. And then this cool Ori collector's edition, which is for Blind Forest and Will-O-the-Wisps. Really cool box art. It looks like it opens up in the middle there, but I wouldn't know because it's sealed, because it's me and I'm an idiot. Also, if you've watched this whole video, here's a special edition that might be of importance to you. Beatemups Grip. I'm selling them again. I'm selling them right now for the Switch 2. There'll be links down below. I was really excited for Fire Emblem Engage, so much so that I bought the definitive edition because I liked Three Houses so much. And then I did not like Fire Emblem Engage, unfortunately. I've made a bit of a mess of my game room. I gotta refocus and re-straighten everything, but that is everything. I think I did it. Oh no, I didn't. There's a little bit more. Golf Story. This was the coolest special edition limited run did for a minute there. Golf Story was a Nintendo exclusive indie really early on. Like I was trying to tell you, there's a golf ball in the top on like the green. That's really clever. This whole thing with a trophy and everything. I was trying to tell you in this video that indies really helped propel the Switch. And it was even things like Golf Story in the same way that Goose Game came around and kind of took the world by storm as like a indie exclusive Switch game. Golf Story was the first one that did that. And it's a shame the sequel didn't really live up to the hype. This is random. Someone gave me Princess Peach Showtime Kung Fu Tea. Here is the good Stardew Valley Collector's Edition. I love that art on the front. It's so cool with all the characters, and the inside has a little diorama and some cool stuff. I'll never know. I'll never open it, but definitely spent way too much time playing Stardew Valley with Kim in the best way possible. One of the last I'm addicted to videos was there's one more game. I found this is actually the most most addicting Switch game, and it was Stardew Valley. And Kim and I really got into it too late. Well, not, there's never too late, but it was like 3 years after everybody else had already loved it, you know? I'd reviewed it really early on in like 2018 in an eShop video where I took a quick look at it, you know, and then moved on. But back then, when I started the eShop videos, I didn't really have as like strict rules as I do now with the eShop games. Like now, I gotta actually buy the game, play the game, you know, for a game like Stardew Valley, I would have to at least put like a sizable amount of hours in, like not finish it or anything. But back then, in the first couple of episodes of the eShop reviews, it was more me just finding cool games on the eShop and letting people know about them. I hadn't always played them, or maybe I dabbled around a little bit. Don't forget, I was also broke back then, so buying 10 games all the time wasn't necessarily attainable. And I think Stardew at the time was one of those where I kind of just dabbled in it, or I looked at it and I didn't really play it that much. In the back of my mind, I always thought I want to play that game more. I actually want to give that game a shot. Finally did, and Kim and I got lost in it. And out of nowhere, 3 years into the Switch, or 4 years into the Switch, I was addicted to Stardew Valley on it and wasn't getting any other work done or playing any other games. And I realized, I guess I've got to make a video about Stardew Valley because I've done nothing else but play this for weeks now. And then I think finally, Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I am a 90s kid. So yes, I bought the collector's edition of Turtles, which has some really cool stuff inside. And I also won't open it, but there it all is. Really cool, really great, really heavy collector's edition for a really great beat 'em up game by .emu. And .emu are the same people that did everything. They did, .emu are doing all of these like rejuvenated beat 'em up games with cool art styles. All right, I'm so talked out. I am done. I am capped. That is everything. That is every game in my Nintendo Switch collection. I hope it was fun in the same way that like a podcast is fun, or just seeing what is actually behind me. All these years of watching my videos and just seeing this wall behind me and not really knowing exactly what's in it. If you watched this whole video, you now know exactly what's in my entire game room. You'll have to let me know and what you think, and I wouldn't blame you for silently judging me for the amount of games I haven't played or didn't even realize were in my collection. A lot of the games I've played on Switch have been digital. A lot of the eShop games is where I spent the most time, you know, playing a lot of those games. But like most of these, especially the Nintendo ones, you know, I've played them all. I've enjoyed them all. I spent a lot of time with them. I mostly just like collecting. That's really what it is. Like I love going to GameStop, seeing a game I hadn't seen before, picking it up, and then seeing if I like it. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I just put it in the game room in the shelf and I forget about it, and maybe one day I look at it again and give it a shot, or it's just in the collection now. I don't really know why I feel the need to justify myself or explain it, but I do, and I am, and here I am. Oh man, all right. I'm never doing this again. This was exhausting, but if you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a like and a comment and a subscribe. And if you ever need something to go to sleep to, put this on in the background. Help it get a few extra views and increase its watch time. Because another reason why I wanted to do this, on top of the love of the game, was YouTube kept telling me to do a long video. My manager at YouTube kept saying, try doing like a 3-hour long video. And I was like, I don't know what I would do, but maybe like what Scott did with the game room one. So I'll be interested to see what this actually does. And don't worry, I don't intend to do it again anytime soon. We're on the precipice of this becoming an ancient, nostalgic collection as the Switch 2 becomes the hot new thing, and I'll have to make room for those games. And maybe in 8 years, we can do this again with the Switch 2. But until then, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what games I need to add to the collection. Bye.